that he could, and it would have the force of his original signature. But W decided not to do it just because he just wanted to err on the side of it not being a legal controversy. So that's probably true with the extent that the president's imprimatur is used on so many documents. But in terms of important documents, policy documents, executive orders, pardons, there is added weight there. And again, let's say that the Autopen is fine. You still have to have the ability to enter into. It's like having the mental standing to enter into a contract. If you don't have the capacity to enter into the contract is null and void. It's the same sort of legal theory here. And oh boy, I mean, if you could press that issue, on the legalities and obviate pardons and executive orders, well, boy, there's a whole host of people that could be targets of the Department of Justice after all, number one. And number two, there's a whole host of people that may not be in the position they thought they were. Think, for example, all of those people who had their student loan debts socialized to everybody else. Okay. So it's important just to drive the branding of that administration, to have that reckoning with the fraud that was perpetrated. That's number one. But then number two, there's potentially some legal questions that could have real world implications in terms of the actions the administration took, maybe or maybe not on behalf of the president. Peter in Barrington, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, morning, Dan and Amy. First off, it was great seeing you guys the other week, the address. And second, I just want to say that, first of all, Biden was deemed unfit to stand trial. So theoretically, just like you said, everything that he has signed should be null and void. But secondly, on the Epic Times, they were stating that what the Heritage Foundation found was that when those pardons were signed, Biden was in the Virgin Islands. So do what you will with that, but I really think something phony is going on here. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks for the call, Peter.
You know who's ready for it is Adam Kinzinger. I mean, if Biden signed with an Autopen and it becomes invalid, he's, mouthing off saying, bring it. He's daring Trump to arrest him.
Arrest Adam Kinzinger? Well, Trump doesn't do arrests. The Department of Justice does.
Exactly.
So he needs to familiarize himself with the government.
Absolutely losing his mind about the issue.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe Kinzinger will get his wish. I sure hope so. But just on the point that Peter made, so Biden was not declared unfit to stand trial. It was the opinion of the special prosecutor on the classified docs case, Robert Hur, that it was not fruitful to go forward with a prosecution, not because it was not warranted, but because he thought Biden would make a sympathetic defendant, that he could be potentially found unfit to stand trial. So it's not. I'm just saying. I just want to be clear on that. It wasn't a legal determination in a court. It was the opinion of a prosecutor coming up with a cover story as to why he wasn't going to pursue charges against the sitting president. However, to that point, and to that those statements that Robert Hur made, they certainly could inform a investigation on the merits as to whether or not actually the president was fit to be the president, whether the president was giving these orders that were memorialized into legal documents, executive orders, and pardons, and so forth. So it's certainly important contextual information that provides a good faith basis for deeper investigation. Since Caitlin Collins is so interested in a deeper investigation, I'd be happy to accommodate her. I'm sure Pam Bondi would too. I hope so.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. On our text line is open. That weasel Adam Kinzinger saying, bring it. The DOJ should do just that.
Lewis outside.
Yes, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. There's already a precedent for that. When Speaker Johnson had asked Joe Biden, did he know that he had canceled that contract about that liquid gas in Ukraine?
Yes, that was Speaker Johnson telling a story. We don't have that Speaker Johnson's version of an interaction with Biden. We don't know that for sure, but I'm inclined to believe Speaker Johnson. I agree with you, Lewis, but again, that's more context that could be part of a deeper investigation. That's a good recall, though. Very good. Thanks for the call, Lewis. Chris on the Dan Ryan.
Hey, Dan and Amy. Hey, just real quick. I know we all have busy days, and we're all, busy doing our things, but the President of the United States, are you that busy that you have to use an Autopen? Now, Dan, I know that you are legality minded. I mean, you are not going to allow an Autopen to sign a document when you're not there. So I guess the question is, legality-wise, if the President of the United States has all these powers and he's using an Autopen, how is that legal? I guess is the question.
Well, thanks for the call, Chris. I mean, it's like Amy with, her autographed pictures.
Oh, right.
I hate to break it to people, but it's Autopen because the demand is so high.
Don't tell anybody, Dan.
And she's got a busy day and so on and so forth, so she can only sign so many personal, thank you letters and pinup pictures and all
8
that.
8x10 glossies, we call them. All right.
Yeah. So it's legal as long as there's evidence that the president is initiating it. Right. I mean, that's the argument. And oh, by the way, I mean the president can be using the Autopen too. It doesn't have to be a surrogate. Just so you don't get carpal tunnel syndrome. They're signing all these documents you have to sign. But that's probably why George W. Bush decided to defer, as I understand it from reading up on it, that decided to defer to just going ahead and signing things authentically, so there was no controversy. George in Naperville.
Yeah, Dan, is the pen physically in his hand like a Dr. Strangelove glove?
It's a great question.
Wow.
I don't know, George, and it's an even better movie reference, and too bad Peter Sellers is not alive to play Biden in the Lifetime movie. Ray in Barrington.
I'd like to see them take this to the maximum so we could maybe find out who exactly were the individuals running the government. And for the trial, all they have to do is play the debate tape.
Thanks for the call, Ray. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You never want to miss one of life's most important moments. A graduation, a birthday, a first communion, a wedding. When these moments happen, you want to make sure to capture them so that you and your loved ones can remember them for years to come. For over 30 years, families have relied on Tom Kaloran Photography to capture important life moments. This locally owned family business can provide the solutions you need for your important event photography, from weddings and birthdays to class reunions and golf outings. No matter the size or scope, Tom Kaloran Photography will make sure you have lasting memories to share for years to come. Tom Kaloran Photography is also the official photographer for AM 560 The Answer. To learn more and to see their portfolio, just visit KaloranPhotography.com. That's KILLORAN photography.com or call them at 708-361-0025. Tom Kaloran Photography, capturing important life moments for over 30 years.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Speaking of trying to find out who's behind what, I want to know who runs the New Marxist Party's messaging office, because they clearly got a new memo from the central office about what to say in the context of the continuing resolution infighting. We'll start there at 5:38.
And oh my gosh, Dan, it happened. An American won the LA Marathon, and he just happens to be from Illinois. His story is fascinating. But now let's head into the newsroom. Say good morning to Nikki Whaley.
Good morning. It's 47 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. President Trump on Monday ended Secret Service protection for former President Biden's son Hunter and daughter Ashley. Trump called the number of people assigned to their detail ridiculous and said their protection would be revoked immediately. Under federal law, ex-presidents and their spouses receive lifelong Secret Service protection. However, their children are only guaranteed that protection if they're under the age of 16. Forever 21 is going out of business. The clothing store company announced it's filed for bankruptcy Sunday for the second time in 6 years. The retailer says it will conduct liquidation sales as it begins an orderly wind down of business. Forever 21's chief financial officer said that the company was unable to find a sustainable path forward as it faced competition from foreign fast fashion companies. The company's website says it currently has more than 540 locations globally and online. Detectives are looking for clues after a teenager was shot and killed on the west side. Officers were patrolling early Thursday morning in the 1500 block of South Kildare when they discovered the victim with a gunshot wound to the head. The victim died at the scene. No one is in custody. This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Mike Gallagher says there will be growing pains.
When you cut your wasteful spending, look at it in your own life. If you go from spending like a drunken sailor to putting yourself on a budget, it's going to hurt. You're used to all the things you got when you were spending like a drunken sailor. But all of this is the right thing to do. You know it, and I know it.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Whew, that shot was money, Lisa. Hey, speaking of, did you ever figure out what to do with your parents' old coin collection?
Not yet. I need a reputable dealer to appraise them. I have no clue what they're worth.
I just finished working on my dad's estate collections. I took it all to Fox Valley Coins. Their customer service was the best. Plus, they're super honest and reputable, but most importantly, experienced. They'll give you the best prices.
Really? They handle estate collections?
Absolutely. Buying, selling, appraising, they do it all. It was quick and simple, and we maintained our privacy. Fox Valley Coins made the whole process easy.
That's exactly what I need. Are they local?
Right in Naperville. They have an easy website to remember. FoxValleyCoins.com.
Perfect. Now let's see if you can return this shot.
Whether buying or selling or just want valuation, Fox Valley Coins is your trusted gold and silver dealer. Visit Fox Valley Coins, 1 light north of I-88 on Route 59 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. FoxValleyCoins.com. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
Perhaps you're a collector. Or perhaps all of a sudden you have a collection. Maybe it's an inheritance. How do you know what it's worth? This is Sean Thompson for Donnelly Auction. The market for antiques and collectibles is changing all the time. What is your collection worth right now? Well, I've got an easy way to find out. It's simple. You contact Donnelly Auctions with their worldwide audience of live and in-person auctions. They have a good idea of how to tell you exactly what it's worth at exactly right now. They're ready to put top dollar in your pocket. The bigger the collection, the better. Go to DonnellyAuctions.com and get the info on all things that they buy and sell to have an idea of exactly what Donnelly does and how much they need your collection. They have so many buyers, it's a great time to sell. Just simply make a phone call. Donnelly has traveled all over the country to pick up collections. Just call and talk to the people at Donnelly Auctions at 815-923-7000. Donnelly Auctions is your trusted partner in turning your collections into cash. DonnellyAuctions.com.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the Kennedy outbound this week, only 2 lanes open from the Byrne interchange out to Montrose, from downtown out to O'Hare. That is currently a 30-minute trip. At the inbound side, it's open free. No delays, 24 minutes. Looks good on the Edens in both direction. Eisenhower inbound, we're just starting to see some traffic there. From the Jane Addams to Congress, it's 38 minutes. Stevenson inbound, and that looks good too. 32 minutes from 355 to DeSopo Lakeshore Drive. Traffic is a service of the Daily Podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and The Sean Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the Daily Podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. Reporting today from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Now, your official weather forecast.
A warmer day today, times of clouds and sun, breezy and a high pushing 70. Clouds and mild tonight, low 56. Breezy and mild periods of rain, thunderstorm for tomorrow. Could bump into some damaging wind and hail, the high at 63. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Dems are in the moment when it comes to this continuing resolution that there's still a lot of backbiting over. We talked about it in some detail yesterday. But that was before word came down from Central Command in terms of how the Marxist base of the party was to address it. And it came down. And what you're going to hear in order, all the leading lights, all the people that Don Lemon says the public wants to hear more from. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, let me hear that.
AOC, Ayanna Pressley, Jasmine Crockett, Wes Moore, governor of Maryland, Chris Murphy, honky senator from Connecticut, Abby Phillip, CNN host, politicians, media types, they're all on the same list. They all get the same, they're on the same distribution list. They all get the memo. Tim Walz.
Oh, yeah, I'm chosen for some more Timmy.
Robert Garcia, Congresswoman from California. He's gay, so he's special. And Simone Sanders, in order, in this moment.
The strength that we have is in this moment.
Listen to your constituents. Center them in this moment.
But I can tell you that there are a lot of people that are watching his leadership in this moment. This is the moment.
No, I think about what's happening, in this moment.
What's important is that we meet this moment.
So are these current Democrats the ones to meet the moment?
What do you want to see us doing right now in this moment?
And which Democrats are actually going to stand up against Elon Musk and Donald Trump in this moment?
The fight that you all are exhibiting is not just what the base wants, but it's what this moment requires.
In this moment, how do you think the Dems are messaging to the public? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line and text line. It really is remarkable. Some of these people on X do a great job of putting together these mashups, but the locked in repetition of whatever has been distributed in this moment. It's really
say in this moment.
It's really astounding to me. It's something to witness how. It's like there's a thing in politics called staying on message, which of course most people know. It's sort of cliche, but this is, taking it to cult levels in this moment. And Seth Moulton.
Well, they've tried everything. I mean, they've tried everything else. So, why not?
No, they haven't tried everything else. They're unwilling to try anything else other than the neo-Marxism that is identitarian politics. And that's what you see playing out in this moment in the fight between all of those backbenchers and media types and Schumer. Seth Moulton is a Democrat from Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. And he's one of the first Democrats to say after the election, maybe we should stop preaching about these moral issues, stop obsessing about litmus tests when it comes to things like men playing women's sports. And he was on CNN to repeat his call for a bit of a pivot, but just don't get too excited about Seth Moulton. we'll hear him out first.
I'll tell you what, we've become a party of people who preach down to others, who scold them, who say, if you don't agree with me, you're not only wrong, but you're a bad person. I mean, I think all of us have heard that attitude from many national Democrats in the past couple years. So I think we need to stop preaching and start listening. Start meeting Americans where they are. Don't take these minority positions on cultural issues and say, hey, if you don't meet this strict liberal litmus test, then you're not even a Democrat. When I questioned whether we should at least just have a debate about rules for sports, whether transgender women should compete on the same level as on girls' sports teams, I got accosted I got told by people, you're not even a Democrat. Well, that's the problem with our party. You can't be a majority party if you don't accept a majority of views. It happens on this particular issue. 80% of Americans disagree with this liberal litmus test, a checkbox for Democrats on this view. So we've got to be a lot smarter in listening to Americans. My job is to represent Americans, not tell them what to think, but actually represent their interests in Congress. And I think if more Democrats took that approach, took that view, we'd be much more successful as a party.
Oh. Sounds like a reasonable guy, right?
Yeah, he's very reasonable.
Yeah. This is Seth Moulton 5 minutes earlier. This is Seth Moulton last week on on the same CNN news desk asking about whether criminal attacks on Tesla owners and Tesla dealerships is a legitimate part of the resistance.
Question, public backlash against Elon Musk. The Trump administration is now saying that, if you are attacking Teslas or dealerships, going beyond vandalism, that could be an act of domestic terrorism. But I do want to ask about this as resistance. Is this what resistance should look like?
So Trump thinks that if you try to kill cops to overthrow the government and change an election, that's not domestic terrorism, but somehow having a protest in front of a Tesla dealership.
So you still think Seth Moulton is reasonable? He is essentially unwilling to answer the question, is committing a crime against a Tesla owner or a Tesla dealer to protest Elon Musk is a legitimate part of resistance, a legitimate expression of protest. And then he uses J6 and a fictional version of J6 to cover that interference he's running for people committing crimes. That's what the party is. So Seth Moulton realized he's disingenuous if you're not picking up what I'm laying down. He realizes that this is increasingly unpopular and the boomerang is increasingly costing the left politically. But do you think that he is a reasonable guy who's looking for sensible policy and compromises and so on and so, working with all the kindergarten bromides you hear from these politicians? No, he's another crank. He's just presents a better face on being a leftist crank.
Right.
If you're not fooled by Gavin Newsom, don't be fooled by Seth Moulton or any of these people. No. Because this is say and do whatever we need to say and do for political power. Nothing has changed. Certainly not their outlook.
But they've lost they've lost their constituents because of this. They lost their footing after losing the White House, the Senate, and the House last November, and nothing is working.
Yeah,
they can all have their own podcasts. I don't care. But they're not on message because they don't care about the American people. They care about themselves.
Yeah, well, they got a long way. They had a good long run.
Yeah, they did.
Taking minority positions and beating people over the head with them. So you can understand why they're a little surprised, because they had the run of the place with all these litmus tests and all the preaching that Seth Moulton talked about and all the telling people what to think and canceling people who didn't think the way they wanted them to think or say what they wanted them to say.
Yeah, they're not the cool kids anymore.
And by the way, we can celebrate what happened in November, and that was necessary. But the idea that they will now just relent, they are going to fall in line around the common sense counter-revolution. They're going to discard their Marxist revolutionary tendencies. That is being incredibly naive. That is being incredibly Pollyannish. Oh, we heard you. No, they didn't. And even if they say they did, do not believe them. They have no credibility. There is no reason to trust anything they're saying, particularly until you see action that backs it up. And what action have we seen? What action have we seen that demonstrates any sort of substantive reckoning?
Well, they
internally?
trot out Rahm Emanuel to say, let's go from the locker room back to focusing on the classroom.
That's not.
I'm just saying that's.
Yeah, and Gavin Newsom's got a podcast, and Seth Moulton is talking about, let's have a debate about litmus tests regarding boys and girls sports. Big deal. They have not been beaten electorally, intellectually, significantly enough. Not by a long stretch. By the way, just as an aside, since Seth Moulton brought it up, I did want to remark upon this. Really good op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. You know, before there was Riley Gaines, there was Mina Svard, Swede. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Mina Svard?
Yeah, there you go. You need the Swedish accent.
Or
the cartoonish, like, chef from Muppet Show accent. Yeah, Mina Svard. You remember Mina Svard? No, I'm sure most people don't.
No, I don't. But
My stolen NCAA championship.
Oh, no.
I was the first college woman to be told her victory was worth less than a man's feelings. In 2019, when I was a sophomore at East Texas A&M University, I was assigned second place in the finals of the NCAA Division II women's 400-meter hurdles. The video from that event shows me racing in Lane 8. In Lane 4 is C.C. Telfer of Franklin Pierce University, who competed for the school's men's team in 2016 and 2017. Craig Telfer ranked 390th among NCAA Division II men. On that day in 2019, he destroyed the women's field and crossed the finish line almost 2 seconds before me, becoming the first known trans-identified athlete to win an NCAA title. 2019, before anybody was paying attention.
Right, before COVID.
That made me the first collegiate woman to be told her victory was worth less than a man's feelings. Men have enormous athletic advantages over women, this just in, which is why women's hurdles are 9 inches shorter than men's. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Olympic gold medal winning times for men's 400-meter hurdles are about 5 seconds faster than for women. That's a difference of about 10%, which is an eternity in this kind of sport. I'm a people pleaser, and I don't like to upset people, a stereotypical female quality that trans activists often exploit to suppress dissent. It took me a year before I found the nerve to post my feelings about a race on Instagram. When C.C. Telfer alerted supporters to my post, I was denounced as a transphobe and racist, and I received harassment and threats. C.C. Telfer went on to write a book and was profiled by the New York Times Magazine. I don't expect I'll ever be profiled in a funding magazine feature, but I did accomplish one thing that will always fill me with pride. In 2019, I was the fastest female 400-meter hurdler at any NCAA Division II school. It's been 5 years since that honor was stolen from me. I want it back. Love it. Love the attitude. I want it back. So you want to talk about, we talk about stolen valor in the course of the military. These records that were stolen, these championships that were stolen from women.
Give
Seth
them
Moulton,
back.
Yeah, Seth Moulton, you want to be serious?
There you go.
Then lead the fight to get Mina Svard the NCAA 2 championship that she earned in 2019.
And Riley Gaines as well.
Yeah, let's put people's rhetoric where their mouth is. I mean, their money where their rhetoric is. How about that? Their political capital where their rhetoric is.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Dan in Salem, Wisconsin.
Hey, Dan, you know how you were pointing out that these news media, this left-leaning news media is all like a bunch of clones saying, in this moment. I wanted to ask you this question. Do you think they're getting paid by Soros?
Well, they are at Odyssey, Alex Soros. Yeah, I mean,
why would they be so chain linked together so dogmatically and try to brainwash the people, the population?
Like I said, I mean, thanks for the call. I mean, I mean, and of course, Soros and some of these big donors to that party. Yeah, I mean, I think it's cult-like. I think it is. It's a mind virus, and they're all afflicted. So the way that I look at it, why be so meticulous in repeating the same phrases, have the same cadence on particular issues, and we've seen this over and over again, including when Dems call for violence. This is 2020. Well, this is from Trump term 1.0.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if
and it just goes on from there. So, I mean, that was just a sort of a position is violence is okay in the direction of MAGA, as they're talking about mostly peaceful protests, and they're donning the cloak of the peacemaker that they do intermittently, except when it's time for preemptive violence, and them to essentially be apologists for that. And then and since then, it's just become sort of more and more orthodox in terms of what needs to be said in this moment, whatever is the issue du jour or the fight du jour.
Got a great text message.
And I think the only way to understand it is to look at these neo-Marxist revolutionaries as a cult.
Incredible to hear that montage about in this moment as they totally misread the moment.
Yeah. Tom in Blue Island.
Again, and Amy, good morning. To that point about the violence, Chuck Schumer a couple years ago telling Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh they're going to reap the whirlwind. Now, who's reaping the whirlwind? Chuck Schumer, Dan, and as you call him, the new Marxists. They're doing exactly what the Bolsheviks did 100 years ago. Now Chuck Schumer isn't radical enough. It's terrible for the country right now, but it's great to see. And these people got to be beaten down. The clips of the people repeating stuff. Rush Limbaugh used to play those clips 20 years ago. They're still great to hear now, but the same thing was going on 20 years ago. The only difference is, as you mentioned, that athlete, Dan, there's people standing up to him now. Back then, no one was standing up to him except, Rush and his minions like us. So,
thanks for the call, Tom. Well, Don Lemon, as I alluded to,
yes,
he thinks the problem is not enough AOC and company.
People love AOC. People love Jasmine Crockett. People love Eric Swalwell and the like.
Ew.
And I think that the Democratic Party should put the people out there who the people want. They should put the politicians out there who the people want, who they're asking for.
Here. Let me be the first to endorse Don Lemon's plan for the Democratic Party. Absolutely. More AOC, right after more cowbell, more AOC, more Swalwell, and more Crockett. 100% in agreement. Roger in DeKalb.
Hey, guys are sounding great this morning. So this brings me back to right after the election when you were talking about how Republicans got to unite against the Democrats. Part of the problem messaging is Republicans call or conservatives call Democrats socialists, new Marxists, Marxists, whatever. They are all progressives. They all follow the Saul Alinsky playbook. All these things, all this repeating the same phrases, that's progressive ideology. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call. Well, it's true, but progressive is too much of a sanitized term. It doesn't have the negative connotation in the minds of the public the way that socialist or Marxist does. So that's why I think it's a little bit more powerful, Marxist revolutionary in particular, because there's not a lot of people that are revolutionaries.
No.
And this is why the counter-revolution, if you will, I mean, it's really just commonsensical. And this is the phraseology that Trump used in that speech to the joint session of Congress, and I think that's right, that this is just sort of you can call it a restoration, you can call it a counter-revolution, but at the core of it, it's common sense. It's basically saying, look, we know these things to be true, and I'm going to say them, and I hope that you take lead from me to also say what you know to be true. Trump is essentially giving people license to speak up for themselves again in a way they maybe weren't when things didn't seem when it didn't seem like they would have much backing if they did.
Well,
now it feels like there's more backing.
And we'd like to please our listeners. I've gotten so many text messages. Can you please play the song This Moment by Billy Vera?
What did you think I would say at this moment?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
There, I
Maybe.
played it. Okay.
I don't know if Billy Vera wants credit to be the inspiration for that cult-like recitation of "In This Moment" you heard, but yeah, okay. We always like to honor instant requests. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Did you know that AM 560 Radio has a full-service digital marketing division called Salem Surround? If you're a business decision maker, listen up. AM 560 listeners are everywhere your potential audience is. So are our incredible targeting capabilities. We localize digital marketing and put it within reach of every business, small and large, in Chicagoland and beyond. Salem Surround offers AI-powered marketing solutions that reach your ideal audience. Whether or not you tap into the proven live, local, and emotional connection that AM 560 Radio brings, Salem Surround offers a total marketing solution to our partners. All-in-one digital solutions that provide targeted local digital and social media ads, Google AdWords management, website services, video strategy, search optimization, and even a management dashboard to offer you total campaign updates and transparency. Your Salem Surround representative is located right here in Chicago. Experience the Salem Surround digital revolution today. Call 847-472-8951. That's 847-472-8951.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 6:06, Tom Homan has a mic drop moment about old laws that the current administration is relying on. That's 6:06.
Today it's going to be near 70 degrees. It is now 6 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Israel has stopped ceasing fire. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's in Gaza, where Israel launched a lot of airstrikes.
Last night into this morning in Gaza, it is the heaviest wave of attacks since the ceasefire took effect in January. The IDF says it hit dozens of targets, going after Hamas targets like officials, leadership, and infrastructure.
Health officials in Gaza say more than 400 Palestinians have been killed, including women and children. Fox's Alex Hogan also reads a statement from Israel's defense minister.
This decision comes after Hamas repeatedly refused to release our hostages and rejected all proposals presented by U.S. President's envoy, Steve Witkoff, as well as the mediators.
Today, President Trump will focus on ending another war in a phone call with Russia's leader, Vladimir Putin, pushing for a ceasefire.
And I think Ukraine wants it. I know they want it. Everybody wants it. It's tremendous death. The bloodshed is unbelievable.
Now, the president remains under scrutiny also over weekend deportations of more than 200 illegal immigrants. A federal judge is demanding answers by noon about why his order to block 2 flights was ignored, asking the administration to show a plan to bring those illegal immigrants back from El Salvador where they were flown.
The Trump administration is saying that the judge who tried to stop them from deporting Venezuelan gang members via the Alien Enemies Act vastly overstepped his authority. Now, they're asking a circuit court to remove him from the case entirely.
Fox's Bill Maloogian. 2 astronauts stuck in space since June are finally on their way back to Earth.
To Crew 9, safe journey home.
Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams are on a SpaceX capsule that undocked just after midnight and will return late in the afternoon, ending what was supposed to be a short mission to the International Space Station, but the Boeing craft that took them there last year had issues and couldn't bring them back. The boys of summer are back, even though it's still winter. The Major League Baseball season opener being played now in Japan. The Chicago Cubs lead the Los Angeles Dodgers 1-0 in the third inning. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 47 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer Newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. Damage assessment is continuing across parts of the South and Midwest hit hard by several rounds of punishing storms this past weekend. The death toll stands at least 42 as many states are working to recover from the tornadoes, heavy rain, wildfires, and dust storms that slammed the region. It appears the majority of the deaths are blamed on the severe weather outbreak that happened in Missouri, where at least 12 were killed. The suspected healthcare CEO killer will not appear in a New York federal courtroom as scheduled this week as his lawyers make a new argument in his defense in his Pennsylvania case. Luigi Mangione's Manhattan federal hearing was moved to April 18th. Mangione has not yet been indicted on federal charges by a federal grand jury for the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside of the Midtown Manhattan Hilton on December 4th. Mangione's lawyers in Pennsylvania now say police illegally got his DNA when they gave him food and a soda after his arrest. They also say that police lacked probable cause and did not read him his rights before questioning him. A Chicago man is admitting to fraudulently receiving a PPP loan of more than $14,000 while working for the Illinois State Police. State Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office prosecuted Ravon Hankins, who pleaded guilty Friday to theft. He's accused of fraudulently receiving a PPP loan from the U.S. Small Business Administration in April of 2021. News is the surface of almostfreeteeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over. If you have a Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO or FEP, you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Learn more and check if you qualify at almostfreeteeth.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, heard you're getting ready to move.
We just listed our house on the market.
Just make sure you have the right attorney.
Doesn't the real estate agent take care of all that?
They stay involved, but you want to make sure you have a great lawyer that's negotiating the terms, helping resolve inspection items, clearing up title issues, preparing the deed and other documents, and attending the closing.
The attorneys at Nauman & Associates in Elk Grove Village have decades of experience handling real estate transactions every day all over Chicagoland. NALawGroup.com.
Sign up for the AM 560 Answer Advantage to get early alerts on event ticket sales, special discounts, and contest opportunities. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/advantage.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing.
MyPillow is excited to announce that they're extending the mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save $40 on the new spring MyPillow bed sheets, any size and any color. Save 30% on their brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one Mike has worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get the 6-piece bath or kitchen towel sets for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And the best-selling standard MyPillow, just $14.98. To take advantage of the Mega Sale 2.0, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201. But that's not all. You'll get free shipping on orders over $75. Once again, call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY or visit MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
It's building on the Edens outbound now. It's 24 minutes from Montrose out to Lake Cook. The Kennedy in at 36 minutes. O'Hare into downtown outbound Kennedy. This is slow from the Byrne interchange to Montrose. That's due to the ongoing construction going on there. Eisenhower in. It's stop and go from Harlem to Western. Jane Addams to the old post office at 44 minutes. 30 in from Wolf Road. At the outbound side of the Ike at Higgins, that's where there's a crash, but it's out of the roadway off to the right shoulder. Looks okay on the Stevenson, the Dan Ryan in at 19 minutes from 95th. Traffic is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Croft University and the Sean Thompson Show. When you go to 560theanswer.com/store. Reporting from the Team Hawkburg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Now, your official weather forecast.
A warmer day today, times of clouds and sun, breezy and a high pushing 70. Clouds and mild tonight, low 56. Breezy and mild periods of rain, thunderstorm for tomorrow. Could bump into some damaging wind and hail, the high at 63. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Before we get to the running imbroglio over deportations of gangbangers, we have to mention something about our show. We had the departure of an important part of our show yesterday. I thought it was at the end of the show when Amy referred to our producer Justin as Justice, but no, Justin is still here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a name assassinator.
I know.
So, yes.
Even those people you know, you still assassinate their
but
names.
Then our day got really worse.
Equal opportunity assassin.
Yeah.
Well, so our venerable newsman, Mike Scott, has left the company, and he was an important part of our show. I mean, just a great newsman, great guy, as I think people who have gotten to know him over the years, listening to him on our airwaves know. And so we just wanted to thank him for all the contributions he made to our show and our station, wish him the best, and... Well, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
but,
and in the news business and the radio business, people come and go. He's been here 21 years. Honestly, the best in the business.
Yeah, he's great.
I mean, and his voice, but he's smart, and he gets local news, he gets national news. But he's a good Christian man, and he's a good father. And I don't know. I had a full-blown panic attack at 3:30 this morning, thinking that he's not going to be here anymore. But that's life. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just know that he's appreciated and loved, and that, as I always say, this moment does not define you. Something else will come along, but it's just...
Yeah, I'm sure you'll see him again and doing something interesting and constructive. He's too much of a talent to not wind up doing something interesting and constructive. So I just wanted to update people. We need to update people on the show, and so that, and again, when you lose an important part, you want to make sure people understand what's happening. So that's why we're mentioning it, and we're thanking him because, as I said, he was a great part of this show and this station, and he will be missed. Okay, carry on. We must. So the compare and contrast between the president and the Midwestern governor who wants to be president. Big statements they both made shortly after President Trump was inaugurated. President Trump saying this in the speech he gave, joint session of Congress, about border security.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
All right, so all we needed is a new president, but then Jelly Belly, the governor of Illinois, don't you know, he issued this warning in the direction of said president. You'll recall.
One who intends to come take away the freedom and opportunity and dignity of Illinoisans. I would remind you that a happy warrior is still a warrior. You come for my people, you come through me.
Mm-hmm. And so we have this clash of the titans occurring in real time now because Trump has come for J.B. Pritzker's people. And J.B. Pritzker's people, just in case you were confused earlier when he made that scary pronouncement, J.B. Pritzker's people are Tren de Aragua gangbangers and Hamas, pro-Hamas agitators on college campuses. Those are his people. Those are the people of all of the open borders politicians on the left. And this couldn't be coming into clearer focus than in the last couple of days after Trump, in concert with the El Salvadoran president, Bukele, deported some 236 Tren de Aragua gangbangers to be detained in El Salvador rather than in American custody. And, of course, this is a matter before the courts. We had a federal district court judge try to intervene. And so now we have, as we discussed a bit yesterday, but let's get into it deeper here now. You have a fight over whether or not what Trump is doing is extra-constitutional. It's a violation of a federal judge's court order. They're relying on a zombie law, a 1798 law that shouldn't even be on the books. All the things you're hearing from, the open borders left. How can you rely on the Alien Enemies Act? Well, let's hear from an alien enemy, Brotherly Love Spice, Ilhan Omar.
It is hard to imagine anything more un-American than that. The Trump administration's immigration policy is a threat to immigrants like criminals. America is too great to fall prey to Donald Trump's anti-immigrant agenda. We need to restore basic humanity to our immigration system, and that starts with repealing the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, with Our Neighbors Not Enemies Act. Together, we will end this xenophobic law once and for all.
Fake eyelashes spice, Jasmine Crockett. She doesn't want to see Tren de Aragua go. Maybe you can relocate them to her Dallas district.
Well, my argument is that we already have tools that are available to remove undocumented violent people from our country. And so the idea that you want to go into a zombie law, this is kind of like what we saw in Arizona when they decided to revive a zombie law around abortion. It is the fact that we can't trust this administration to actually use a scalpel, but instead they love to use a butcher knife on things. And so giving them this wide latitude to just kind of go across and just claim that anybody is anything is wrong. And so we do have courts, we do have processes, we do have laws, and we should just go ahead and use those. There's a reason that nobody else has decided to go back into Adam's times in order to try to find ways to make sure that we can keep our country safe.
In response to the question of a 1798 law, a zombie law going back into John Adams's time. Well, he was a president of the United States, don't you know? It is a statute on the books. Tom Homan was asked about that and had this to say before he walked away.
You say to those who claim you're using a 200-year-old law to circumvent due process?
An old law? Not as old as the Constitution. We still pay attention to that, don't we?
But some would say this is...
How many more times do you plan on...
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Stephen Miller got into more detail on this, top domestic advisor to President Trump. On the statute itself, he was very patient with Cassie Hunt. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Casey Hunt on CNN, because you have to be when you're dealing with people that are, what's Trump's favorite phrase? Low IQ. She's a complete dingbat. She's not alone, but she is also one of those. And so Miller explained the statute and explained the folly of the agitprop you're getting from the Jasmine Crockett's of the world, who also is allegedly an attorney, incredibly so. Here's Miller.
Train Darwagwa is an alien enemy force that has come here, as detailed at length in the proclamation, at the direction of the Venezuelan government. The statute says that a president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed by a foreign
state
government.
or a government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This would be, yes, it is documented. The TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point. Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one, or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy? The president and the president alone makes a decision of what triggers that determination.
So do you then
in the
think we
statute.
are actually at war with Venezuela, the nation state of Venezuela?
You're not hearing me, and you're not understanding me. Read the statute. Alien Enemies Act, 1798. It says if a predatory incursion is perpetrated by a foreign government, so it lists three qualifying actions. It could be an act
of war. It does say in the
it could
very
be-
beginning there has to be a declared war against a nation
No.
or a
No.
state. That's what it says.
No, wrong. Look up the statute. It's on my account on social
That's
media.
actually where we
Everyone can
found
go
it
see
earlier.
Yes, it says or a predatory incursion or an invasion. The statute delineates three criteria for triggering the Alien Enemies Act. One is an act of war, which, by the way, an invasion is an act of war, but put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all three statutory criteria. But with respect to this particular statute, the proclamation is utilizing the incursion and invasion language in the statute.
Yeah, so or predatory incursion, which organized crime illegally entering the country, I think nicely fits within predatory excursion if they have the additional evidence, as Miller described, that links the Maduro government in Venezuela. Well, it makes it all the more compelling. So this idea, like, we don't know, hey, we don't know who these, they don't know who these people are. You have to substantiate this and that. First of all, you don't. It is under the plenary power of the executive when it comes to national security issues. So they're not right about that. They're also not right about what the Trump administration has on those people they deported.
Exactly. I mean, don't forget, people keep forgetting.
And finally, they're not right on the law. So they're not right on the Constitution, they're not right on the law, and they're not right on the evidence. But other than that, they've got it pretty well sussed out, does Jasmine Crockett and Ilhan Omar and the rest.
I mean, they don't remember, or they care to forget, that 15,000 people here illegally were convicted of murder. Not accused of murder, but convicted of murder. 13,000 rapists. I mean, come on. And they prioritize them over their own American citizens.
Joe in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I'm surprised Crockett has a beef with so-called zombie laws. I mean, where was she yelling and complaining about Alvin Bragg not only using a zombie law, but creating a Frankenstein law to go after Trump?
Yeah, right. Well, yes, Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett, actually, too, she had another riff because, I mean, they're just... And again, I'm only doing what Don Lemon suggested that we do. You people listening want to hear more from Jasmine Crockett, Eric Swalwell on AOC. So we're just trying to take Don Lemon's lead on this and provide more. Jasmine Crockett explains capitalism to us. Capitalism in the context of the free movement of labor and immigration. You'll want to pay particular attention to this.
Well, my argument is that we already have tools that are available to remove undocumented violent people from our country. And so the idea that you want to go into a zombie law.
How many of you are sending your kids to college to go and work on them? Okay, well, guess who is working the farms? So that you can afford your food. So that you can have food. So that you can have food. Now, how many of you are looking to send your kids into hospitality after this college education so that they can go and make the beds at the hotels? How many of you are planning to send your kids to college? Because that's what we do here. We send everybody to college. How many of you are planning to send your kids to college so that they can then go and build these houses? So the reality is that so long as we live in a capitalist society, there's always going to be someone or a group of people that will do work that some of the rest of y'all don't want to do. These are the people that are really making us great in this country.
And then she went on to say this. I mean, it's a pretty good AC/DC impersonation she does. This is what those people in our country that you people want to expel. Who is going to make the beds? Who is going to pick the crops? Who is going to build the houses? This is those are the people that make America great. The people here illegally doing the jobs that you people won't do. Now, first of all, if you've got like a poli-sci degree or pretty much any liberal arts degree, you probably should look into picking crops and making beds. But what about that? Is that compelling to you? I'm sure we've heard this argument over and over again, so there's nothing novel. But what do you expect from Jasmine Crockett? Nobody's in the construction. The construction industry is dependent on people in this country illegally. Without them, no houses get built.
Can you imagine if a Republican said that?
Yeah, not only is it a stereotypical caricature of people who are immigrants, legal or otherwise, it's also untrue on the substance. And I mean that's and to sort of lay that at the feet of capitalism. Well, I mean that's a socialist trying to impugn the brand of capitalism. But look, I mean we even have we thought just to make this. You mentioned this LA Marathon. Right. I used to think that. We had to import the Kenyans to run races that Americans didn't want to run, but then we have a honky win the LA Marathon.
First time in 31 years, and his name is Matt Richman, and he's from...
nobody cares.
Well, no, he's from Elburn, Illinois. You know why?
I still don't care.
People that run marathons, Dan, you're still training, right, for this coming fall?
I see no... I see no point.
Yeah.
I mean, that is right there with cycling for me.
Okay. Well, that was the second marathon he's ever run in his life. So good for him. Personal best of 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Right,
personal best when it's the second one ever.
Elburn's very own. Okay, great. Yeah. So there you go. We don't need to import as many Kenyans to run our races that we don't want to run. Okay, fine. Mark in Oak Lawn.
Hey Dan, hi Amy. Thanks for taking my call. All these Democrats, they're preaching from their high horse about the problem with Trump, and he's taking all these immigrants and sending them back. And, they don't acknowledge anything about the open borders during Biden. 10 to 20 million people just coming over, no vetting, letting anybody come over. And they knew that they were criminals. They just wanted to destroy our country. They don't care about us at all.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Mark. Well, here's the thing. It's an important point you raised. I just want to go back to what you said because I should have made this point. The disingenuous of it all, the fork-tongued nature of a propagandist like Jasmine Crockett, who's not particularly skilled. But this is the argument that the left always makes, what you heard, a version of it, what you heard from her. Oh, the jobs that Americans won't do, don't want to do. Let's say that's true. Let's just for the sake of argument, let's say it's true. what they're trying to say is we need open borders because without open borders, we can't get people to do the jobs that Americans don't want to do. But that's not true. That's not true. We could have secure borders and then have a subsequent conversation, policy discussion, debate. Okay, our borders are secure. There's a process to come into this country temporarily and ultimately permanently. And we have a labor shortage in this sector or that sector. So let's talk about doing a guest worker program for, first of all, there's already visas that allow for, agricultural workers and so forth. So that already exists as one option for businesses.
The H-2A temporary agriculture workers program. Yes.
Yeah, but let's say that the need was bigger than doing and more urgent than processing visa applications that are initiated by particularly big agricultural businesses that have the wherewithal and so forth. Let's say it was bigger, it was more urgent than that. Well, we could talk about a guest worker program that was properly conceived and implemented. So there's all kinds of things you can do, and you can persuade Americans to accept or even support when you have control of the situation. Their argument is we need chaos in order to derive a couple of these alleged benefits. But even if the benefits are as alleged, you can achieve them in an orderly fashion, in a sensible fashion, without all of the downside of open borders. This is the important point that needs to be made to people who are not thinking this through. Jay in Lowell, Indiana.
Yes, sir. I've got an answer for Jasmine Crockett for all these people, for all these jobs no one wants to do. Take all these able-bodied Americans on welfare and say, here, go pick the crop. There's your job. You don't need welfare. We gave you a job. Here you go.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Jay. Yeah, work requirements for welfare could result in an influx of labor.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Sean and Darian.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Yeah, I've been a bricklayer for 37 years. I'm a white guy. I've known many white guys doing construction. Yes, there's Hispanic. Yes, there's Polish. So she has no clue what she's talking about.
Yeah, I think Polish is technically honky, too. But yeah, no, I get it. Right, of course. It runs the gamut. The idea of construction, go through the trades, electricians and plumbers and bricklayers and carpenters and operating engineers.
So offensive.
She's an idiot. We know this, but you still have to dissect these idiotic arguments you get from idiots on the left. So people don't fall prey. Well, yeah, she's got a point. No, she doesn't have a point. She doesn't have a point. Take a step back and understand what is available, what could be available, and all that is available or could be available without, again, any of the downsides of the actual policy regime that Omar and Crockett and AOC and the rest of them have proposed. J.B. Pritzker, too. His people. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Replacing windows in the winter may seem counterintuitive, but the fact is, it's a great time to really feel the difference of high-performance windows from Valdecas.
When it's time to consider new windows, siding, and doors for your home, you need to look no further. Sebastian Gorka here to tell you about Valdecas. Valdecas has been the trusted name chosen by thousands of homeowners, and they should be your number one choice too. But what's really behind the name Valdecas? Over 25 years of a team dedicated to providing you with the best customer service experience and products that truly bring value to your home. They are a Pella Platinum Elite Status certified contractor for a reason. They have an A+ rating with the BBB, as well as high ratings and positive reviews on both Google and Houzz. Schedule your free in-house consultation at Valdecas.com.
Ask about exclusive manufacturer warranties and the Valdecas 10-year workmanship guarantee.
Don't wait. Book today at Valdecas.com. For the best in class, it's Valdecas.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Bob Chivato, owner of Go Exceed and a customer of Signature Bank. By leveraging AI and machine learning, we provide data management solutions for corporations to save time and money managing their cellular devices. While we rely on machines to help us run our business, we believe personal relationships are essential. This is why we chose Signature Bank. Having a banking partner who understands our background, our business, and our priorities is fundamental to our success. Any bank can provide basic services, but having a bank that you could trust, one that looks out for you and treats your business like its own, that's irreplaceable.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm so excited.
At 6:36, we're going to talk to Deerfield parent Nicole Georges. We brought you the story, the first to bring you the story last week about the trans policy at the Deerfield middle schools, which in part apparently led administrators to try to compel girls to change in front of boys. We're talking about 13-year-olds. Anyway, this has become an international story because it got picked up after we aired it by Riley Gaines, by J.K. Rowling.
She was on with Laura Ingraham last night.
Shows you what one mom standing up against the trans mob can do. We'll talk to her at 6:36.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Nikki Whaley.
Good morning. It's 47 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. President Trump says the files related to the assassination of former President John F. Kennedy will be released today. Speaking while touring the Kennedy Center, Trump said around 80,000 pages will be released.
I've instructed my people that are responsible, lots of different people, put together by Tulsi Gabbard.
The president said a lot of people have been asking for this for a long time. Kennedy was assassinated back in 1963. Harvard will make tuition free for more students. The school is eliminating tuition for students from families earning up to $200,000 annually. That's a big push up from the previous $85,000 income threshold. A Downers Grove South High School teacher is accused of sexually abusing a student. Authorities say Christina Formella had sexual contact with a 15-year-old boy in a classroom in December of 2023. She had been a coach for his soccer team the year before and was also tutoring him. Formella is charged with aggressive criminal sexual abuse and criminal sexual assault. News is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and The Sean Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe to the free daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Mike Gallagher explains the president's stance on the war in Ukraine.
He wants the killing to end. He wants the war to end. And he's not going to take a side because there are young Russian boys that are being killed. There are young Ukrainians being killed. It's a humanity issue. And I'm confident President Trump is going to help broker peace between these two nations.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But what if you could get both? Why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. And we know this from research of members. There's a lot they like about MediShare, but especially they love being part of something they believe in. And MediShare works, too. It has for more than 30 years. There are hundreds of thousands of members who love having telehealth if they need it. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or you're part of the gig economy or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
When your home or business has an insurance claim, the next step is very important. The claim process with insurance can be tedious, hard to understand, and difficult to navigate. You need someone working for you. You need a licensed claim adjuster. Why? The insurance company will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them. Not you.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company. If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
It's building on the Edens outbound now. It's 24 minutes from Montrose out to Lake Cook. The Kennedy in at 36 minutes. O'Hare into downtown outbound Kennedy. This is slow from the Byrne interchange to Montrose. That's due to the ongoing construction going on there. Eisenhower in. It's stop and go from Harlem to Western. Jane Addams to the old post office at 44 minutes. 30 in from Wolf Road. At the outbound side of the Ike at Higgins, that's where there's a crash, but it's out of the roadway off to the right shoulder. This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Springfest savings start now. Get up to 40% off select major appliances, plus save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. Valid through April 2nd. Selections vary by location while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Reporting today from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Now, your official weather forecast.
A warmer day today, times of clouds and sun, breezy and a high pushing 70. Clouds and mild tonight, low 56. Breezy and mild periods of rain, thunderstorm for tomorrow. Could bump into some damaging wind and hail, the high at 63. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. As I said before the break, the story we brought you first last week that has now gone around the world. Deerfield Middle Schools, at the school board meeting, a discussion of locker room policy for grade schoolers. We're talking about, boys and girls that are 12, 13 years old. One mom got up to offer a view that was apparently contrary to most in attendance, because most in attendance were trans activists. The mom's name is Nicole Georges, and as I said, it shows you how much one mom standing up can accomplish, because now you've got people from across the globe zeroing in on Deerfield schools to figure out what exactly is going on there and put pressure on the administration there to perhaps make some policy changes along the lines of what Nicole Georges argued from the podium during her public comments. Take a listen to part of what she had to say.
My name is Nicole Georges, and I'm here to demand that the locker rooms and bathrooms at District 109 be designated as biological male and biological female, as there already is a gender-neutral option. The girls want their locker rooms and bathrooms back. They want their privacy back. This is why I'm here tonight. My 13-year-old daughter's well-being and mental health and privacy is at stake. This nightmare began on February 5th when my daughter was using the girls' bathroom and was stunned that a biological male student was using it as well. She came home frightened and was extremely upset. I asked her to talk with her teachers and find out more information. She was told by the administration that a student can use the bathroom as well as a female locker room because they now identify as female. I was sent an email to the teachers involved and received a call from Principal Wegley. He verbally reiterated that under Joanna Ford's direction and their legal counsel that the student could use both the locker room and bathroom. I expressed that the school was in clear violation of federal policy. The Trump administration issued an executive order restricting biological males from participating in sports and accessing female locker rooms. That day, I filed a civil rights complaint on behalf of my daughter with the Department of Justice. It has now been referred to the Department of Education. A federal complaint has been filed with the district to protect the students. The situation went from bad to worse. A few days later, the male student was present in the girls' locker room. Feeling violated, the girls made the choice to not change into their PE clothes with a biological male student present. The next day, Assistant Principal Kathy Van Treese pulled the girls into their office, questioning them. The same day, Assistant Superintendent Joanna Ford, Kathy Van Treese, and multiple teachers all came into the girls' locker room, making them change into uniform. This went on all week with the addition of Ginger Laugerman. My daughter refused to take part in having her privacy being violated. How dare they? She ran out and called for me for help. Principal Wegley was offering my daughter a new PE class. The answer was no. She is not changing for the remainder of the year, and she is not changing into another class. The girls just want their privacy, and they want their locker room back. There are gender-neutral options. This is my daughter's story and the story of many other young girls who have been forced at the difficult age to do something they know and most adults know is wrong. Do the right thing, Deerfield, and give these girls their locker room and bathrooms back.
And the response that she got from those others in attendance during public comment, give you just a sense of the tone and tenor of the trans activists that were present, like this person, Charlie, who followed Nicole at the podium.
I'm happy to go after that one. Thank you, school board. From what I've heard, y'all are following the law, which is fantastic. My name is Charlie Friedman. My pronouns are they, he. I am a trans person. I am the parent of a trans middle schooler. I am also the director of operations for Trans Up Front. It's a nonprofit organization fighting for trans rights. We partner with over 30 major organizations, including the ACLU, Lambda Legal, HRC, etc. We have a protest coming up for trans rights on March 30th, 1 p.m., Federal Plaza. We have and I would like to take a moment to talk about Illinois. We're all very lucky to live in a state that protects everyone here. Specific to today, Executive Order 2019-11, which my kid was standing next to Pritzker when he signed. Yes, an executive order from the governor. And in that order, it's called Strengthening Our Commitment to Affirming and Inclusive Schools, which protects trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming students from the type of bullying that this parent represents.
Right, standing up for your daughter is bullying. More examples of the sort of commentary you got from other speakers that evening.
Education is super important. Sex education is super important. And this is just a kid. And I'm really grateful to see how full this room is of support for this kid. Instead of the petty women that target him.
Which looks right at her.
You're not making this better. All right, thank you.
I mean, once they got in her face, like they were calling her cisgender husbands, it just went on and on. They should have kicked them out of the meeting because who's bullying who now?
I know, but bullying. People can speak their minds. It's not bullying. That's such an overused word. But I'll tell you this: you need to make an assessment on who is speaking sense. And that's what I said when we talked about this last week. It's real simple. You're either with Nicole Georges or you're with Charlie. There's no in between. You either are going to live with biological facts, and you're going to respect what we all know to be true about private spaces for men and women, for boys and girls in particular, particularly in a school setting, or you're not, or you're going to throw the whole thing up for grabs. And that's just the decision you have to make, or it will be imposed upon you by people like Charlie. For more on this, Nicole Georges joins us, mother of the 13-year-old girl who attends Allen B. Shepherd Middle School in Deerfield that she was referencing. Nicole, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, the main thing is this sets such a dangerous precedent for girls everywhere by allowing men into their safe space. I mean, think about this. So you're letting this child who identifies as a female today, let's say that the gym teacher tomorrow says, you know what, I'm going to identify as female, and they can come into their safe space. Where do you draw the line?
Well, I think there's two issues here, obviously, with that, but also the administrators that allegedly forced your daughter and others to change in front of him. I mean, normally, I don't know about you, but when I was that age, we don't even want to change in front of other girls, let alone your gym teacher be in the locker room, but not only that, the assistant principal. So who is in the locker room?
Correct. Well, that's what I said. I said most of these girls, they don't even want to change in front of sometimes their friends. They don't want to change in front of their moms. They deserve their own private. They deserve their own time to change. And they were coerced them unlawfully, and they were faced with disciplinary action. We have audio of it.
So just
well, that's so. This is an important point, and it's one of the reasons that this has gone viral is because this is sort of Yeah, it's. I mean, J.K. Rowling tweeting out with some of the video, including your remarks. I'd remove my daughter instantly from that school, then go full nemesis. But I mean, the idea that the administrators compelled 13-year-old girls to change in front of a boy, to disrobe in front of a boy. I mean, that's criminal.
It's sick. It's criminal, and it's unlawful, and it's absolutely wrong. And I'm not going to let this go. I will 100% fight this till the end. It's not going. I will not let this go. I will not.
Did you try to file a police report with Deerfield Police?
So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to Deerfield Police today. The issue that I'm having with the district with Mr. Simic that I had to have a conversation with yesterday. I reached out to the district. Starting. This is probably about 8 messages I had. I got a phone call from Mr. Simic for the first time yesterday. And
who's that? The superintendent?
He's the superintendent. Wanting to have a little sit down with me on Wednesday, just a one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And I said, what is that in regards to? Because I've been asking them how I can go about filing let me go through my notes, how I can file the grievance procedure. That is how everything gets started. And I have been bounced around from multiple people. Basically, they're gaslighting me. They're trying to stonewall me into filing. And I will not be stopped. It goes from one person to the next. They're sending me a policy form. And I said, no, I need to know exactly how to file. So he said, well, why don't you come in and you and I can talk? I said, unfortunately, Mr. Simic, that's not going to work. He said, well, you're inquiring about the grievance procedure. What grievances do you have? He had the audacity to ask me that.
Feigning ignorance.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you say you have a tape or audio. What's on the audio tape?
The audio tape is one of the all the teachers and the assistant superintendent in there, and they're saying to the students that if you do not change, you will face disciplinary action. And also in this audio, it is saying one of the kids is calling the child by their biological name, and that it is also saying that they are misgendered students and they are be facing disciplinary action for that.
When did this start? Like, has this been a long running issue?
Yes. This started. I filed a complaint with the Department of Justice on February 7th. So this started when my daughter was coming out of the bathroom. She didn't know that this child had changed, had identified as female. Then she knew this child always as the gender that he was born as, and she was startled to see that this child was in the stall next to her.
So the trans kid's identity change is a recent development, and that's what has sparked all this.
It seemed like right after the inauguration.
Okay.
Timing's everything, huh?
And the district is saying that they're hiding behind Pritzker's executive order and ignoring Trump's executive order.
And so that day, I had my daughter, and she's a very strong girl. She said, "You know what, Mom? I want to do this on my own. I want to talk to my teacher and ask why this child was in the bathroom." And I said, "Good, go. You should do that." She did, and then her teacher came back and said, not only can this child use the bathroom, but the child will also now be using the locker room because this child now identifies as the same as you. So she came home hysterical crying, and that's when I got involved. So I emailed the principal, and I attached the executive order to the email and said, I understand if maybe you haven't updated your policy yet. I know this is very new, but clearly maybe this was a mistake that this child was in there. And then he said, can we have everything that Deerfield wants to do is on a conversation on the phone. They will refuse to put anything in policy.
No, they don't want anything on email. So do your daughter, you're not entertaining changing schools, so don't cave to the mob.
Absolutely not. And that's why what they wanted her to change gym classes. And I said, absolutely not. No way. She's not doing a darn thing. I go, the only thing she's not doing is she's not changing for the rest of the year.
And the person who now is, the boy is identifying as a girl, do you know what the policy is at the middle school with respect to sports? I assume that person then could play girls' sports.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
But the thing that I will say is that the PE teachers tried to stop this. They tried to because and that's the status part. This situation could have ended, number one, by the child using the gender neutral bathroom that the child refused to use, and that is so frustrating because one child, everybody we're in the storm because of one child,
and everybody has to comply. Right.
Everyone has to fold for one kid. So that's the issue: is use the gender neutral bathroom that's provided for children like you. If you are going to change your gender, we know what we're going to give you that option. Why are you not using it? So that's number one. Number two is that I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. But that was the issue: was the gender neutral bathroom, and then the fact that the second thing was that the girls had decided when they knew he was coming into the space, they had said, we don't want to change it. In that audio, you can hear the kids saying, we don't want him in the locker room. It is the saddest audio that you will ever hear. It is horrible. And horrible. And when Simic made that statement last night saying that none of these girls are forced, it is an absolute lie, outrageous, false statement.
Are you going to release that audio?
It has girls' names in it, and we have
got to redact that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how did you control yourself when that person at the end with the orange hair said, and I quote, petty women who push the white supremacist agenda of their cis white husbands and follow their white god?
I laughed at her and I said, that's all you've got? I mean, they're a joke. They're a joke. It's so sad how they are.
How many
They're
parents
jokes.
were there? Because the room seems like it was filled with the trans community.
With trans activists. They were bussed in, I think. I mean, I don't know. And that's the sad part is you are dictating my children's policy. You're dictating what goes on in my kids' school. You live all over the state. Haynesville, Berwyn, Northbrook. None of them, I would say maybe two or three of the speakers maybe lived in Deerfield, but they didn't even have kids that went to 109.
Oh.
And what about now? Are other parents joining this fight with you, or is everybody just saying, you go, Nicole, and we'll watch?
They're 100% joining the fight. They're staying quiet. I mean, they're letting me do all the talking.
Okay. Well, and you are going to follow up with the Deerfield police on this, so that could be another development.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm going out. Yeah. It's a very busy day today.
Well, we'll let you. And then you have your motherly duties too. Don't forget about those.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll let you get to it. Nicole Georgia, she's the mother of the 13-year-old girl who attends Allen B. Shepherd Middle School in Deerfield, and we'll be watching. And please stay in communication with us as you prosecute this effort.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, heard you're getting ready to move.
We just listed our house on the market.
Just make sure you have the right attorney.
Doesn't the real estate agent take care of all that?
They stay involved, but you want to make sure you have a great lawyer that's negotiating the terms, helping resolve inspection items, clearing up title issues, preparing the deed and other documents, and attending the closing.
The attorneys at Nauman & Associates in Elk Grove Village have decades of experience handling real estate transactions every day all over Chicagoland. NALawGroup.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
That now means it's time for In-Depth History with Frank, the history teacher from Arlington Heights, because there's nothing new in this world, just the history you don't know, and Frank does. Frank, take it away.
Good morning. In 2021, Gonzaga became the first undefeated team in 42 years to reach the NCAA title game. The prior team, of course, was the Indiana State Sycamores, led by Larry Bird from French Lick, a town not too far from the Hickory Huskers' opponents Ulitic, Lagoti, and Pilot Knob. For that matter, it's pretty close to Martinsville, too, birthplace of the one and only John Wooden. The state of Indiana is, of course, famous for its basketball teams, or at least it was. Its flagship college team has been moribund since Bobby Knight was railroaded out of Bloomington, and its all-inclusive single-class high school basketball tournament is gone, too. There were, indeed, some great high school dynasties back in the early 20th century, told in all its detail at the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame in Newcastle. But as science has destroyed philosophy, the money power has seemingly permanently eclipsed amateur sports. No longer are there regional, almost Tocquevillian conferences like the MAC, where you could, if you had the time, physically see every game on your team's season schedule just by driving. Today, Stanford is in the ACC, and UCLA is in the now disfigured Big Ten. Once the University of Hawaii joins the Big East, it will be at peak absurdity. I wonder, though, if antitrust laws are being violated by all this. The prevalence now of using quads 1 through 4 victories to help determine March Madness bids are akin to the same self-serving rules the medieval Hanseatic League used to protect its trade routes. The gluttonous SEC got 14 of 16 teams in. And does North Carolina's bid smell like regulatory capture or what? Obviously, the oligarchic system that fuels the continued dominance of programs like Duke is popular. But I take the view of Gene Hackman's Little Bill Daggett towards English Bob and Unforgiven. Duck Guy says.
That's pretty good, Frank. I enjoyed that. That's one of my favorites of all time from Frank, the history teacher. By the way, I mean, the only thing I would say is, comparing the use of Quad 1 through Quad 4 victories to the Hanseatic League is so derivative. Everybody makes that comparison.
Of course they do.
It's so obvious. Well, I'm sure you saw the West Virginia governors threatening to sue the NCAA over North Carolina getting the bid over West Virginia.
Well, somebody ought to. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Dayton was a really good team. I know they didn't, get all the way into the Atlantic 10, final game or anything like that, but, Northern Iowa was really good. These smaller conferences can't get anybody in. You get Oklahoma, a 9 seed. They were 6-12 in their conference. Give me a break.
But it's
I like the man. He's a great coach at Loyola, but I'm sorry.
We'll take up Frank's commentary a little bit later in the show.
All right, it's now 7 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Israel goes back on the attack. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Hamas cannot be part of the future in the Gaza Strip. Full stop.
That's Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesman Oren Marmerstein after a new round of airstrikes bombarded Gaza, where health officials say more than 400 Palestinians have been killed, including women and children.
The IDF saying it's going after Hamas targets like officials and infrastructure. The renewed fighting comes during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, and footage this morning shows the widespread extent of some of the damage across the Strip. The first stage of the ceasefire ended 2 weeks ago. Negotiators have yet to hammer out a second second stage, which would free the remaining hostages.
Fox's Alex Hogan. Now to the war in Ukraine. President Trump keeps trying to stop it, and we'll talk to Russian leader Vladimir Putin today.
The call between the two leaders comes after a week of negotiations. That began when the United States and Ukraine agreed on a plan for a 30-day ceasefire. We could soon find out if Russia is ready to sign on to it too.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. A federal judge has given the Trump administration till noon to answer questions about controversial weekend deportations he had ordered halted and why the order was ignored. But White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt tells Fox,
"We know we are going to win this battle in court."
She maintains the planes carrying alleged Venezuelan gang members in the U.S. illegally were in international airspace when the judge ordered the planes to turn around. A first in Texas, a midwife criminally charged, accused of performing abortions.
Maria Rojas is charged with 2 felonies, illegal performance of an abortion and practicing medicine without a license under Texas' near-total abortion ban. State Attorney General Ken Paxton says Rojas illegally operated at least 3 clinics in the Houston area where the procedures were performed. Opponents of the ban say it's too vague regarding when medically necessary exceptions are allowed, and a bill has been filed in the current state legislative session to clarify that.
That's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 47 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer Newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are expected to speak today about ending the war in Ukraine. Trump has said that today's discussion will center on land and power plants. Ukraine has agreed to a 30-day U.S.-backed ceasefire proposal. The White House says the president is using his authority within the bounds of the law to carry out deportations. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Trump is not defying court orders and acting within his constitutional authority. The Trump administration has carried out deportations under the centuries-old Aliens Enemies Act, despite a judge having preemptively barred the removal of some illegals under the act. Harvard University will make tuition free for more students. The school is eliminating tuition for students from families earning up to $200,000 annually. That's a big push from the previous $85,000 income threshold. Harvard joins schools including MIT, the University of Pennsylvania, and Caltech with similar thresholds for free tuition. A Downers Grove South High School teacher is accused of sexually abusing a student. Community High School District 99 School Board President Dawn Renner spoke about the incident.
We are heartbroken for the victim and also for the hundreds of students, staff, and family who trusted this teacher and feel betrayed by this terrible situation.
Authorities say Christina Formella had sexual contact with a 15-year-old boy in a classroom back in December of 2023. She had been a coach for his soccer team the year before and had also been tutoring him. Formella is charged with aggravated criminal sexual abuse and criminal sexual assault. News is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today.
When you need to talk about what's happening today.
Hey, can I talk to you for a second?
There's one place you can come to. The Sean Thompson Show.
Do it! Do it, I dare you. Do it!
Get in the conversation.
Everybody talks about that show. Sounds great, doesn't it?
Weekdays starting at 4.
This is easy.
I like his honesty and his frankness. Every day I listen to him, I learn.
He says what's on his mind. He's real.
Best person out there to listen to. We're combating people who prefer the lie.
He's Sean Thompson, only on AM 560. The Answer.
I should have done it sooner. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and that's what a number of people say to me when they come up and talk to me about QC Kinetics. Why did I wait so long? So let me ask you a question to see if whether or not you're a good candidate for QC Kinetics. Do you have trouble sleeping, walking, day-to-day movement? Do you want to avoid surgery and all the pain, the long recovery, and the uncertainty that comes with it? Do you miss doing things like golfing, jogging, playing pickleball? Well, if you answered yes to any of these questions, I bet you're a great candidate. So please don't wait. Contact our good friends at QC Kinetics right now and ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can help you and give you lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Saturday appointments available. Call 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. Again, 312-809-5955.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing.
Hey, John. Need any help over there?
Oh, hey, Chris. Oh, I'm good. Just digging some new flower beds and planting a couple shrubs.
You sure you should be doing that? You know, with your high blood pressure and all?
It's all good. I got my blood pressure under control now.
Really? New medication?
No, a superfood juice that is absolutely delicious.
A juice?
Yeah, it's 120 Life. It has 6 natural ingredients that have shown to control blood pressure.
Wow, in a juice?
Yep. So controlling my blood pressure tastes great and I feel great.
I wonder if 120 Life could fix my procrastination getting yard work done.
Not sure about that, but it sure helped me.
Certainly has. You and your yard look great.
Try 120 Life risk-free and get a 2-week trial pack. Order the 8-ounce drink or powdered mix. Go to 120life.com and use coupon code 560 to save 15% and get free shipping. They're so sure it can noticeably lower your blood pressure in 2 weeks, they'll give your money back if you're not satisfied. Order now. 120life.com. Use coupon code 560 at checkout to save 15% and get free shipping.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The Kennedy inbound, it is now 50 minutes from O'Hare into downtown. Outbound set of the Kennedy, it is stop and go from the Byrne interchange to Montrose. That's that ongoing road work there. 36 minutes from downtown out to the airport. On the Eisenhower, 58 minutes from Jane Addams to Congress. It is running 40 in from Wolf Road. Stevenson Building, not too bad though, 54 minutes from the Veterans to DeSoto Lakeshore Drive to Dan Ryan. Inbound, that is now stop and go. It is 30 minutes from 95th into downtown. Traffic is a service of Air Bright Heating and Cooling, offering AM 560 listeners $56 off any service, including inspections, or take advantage of limited time federal rebates on a new furnace. Visit Air Bright Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Reporting today from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Now, your official weather forecast.
A warmer day today, times of clouds and sun, breezy and a high pushing 70. Clouds and mild tonight, low 56. Breezy and mild periods of rain, thunderstorm for tomorrow. Could bump into some damaging wind and hail, the high at 63. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy wanted to provide some time for reactions to the updated story now that we've spoken to Deerfield Middle School mom, Ellen B. Shepherd Middle School and Deerfield mom, Nicole Georges, about her 13-year-old daughter and the other girls that were apparently there was an attempt to force them to disrobe in front of a boy in the locker room by school staff. She has audio, she just told us, of that interaction, and she is going to file a police report with the Deerfield Police today. It'll be interesting to see how they take that up. She's also described to us how the school district superintendent is trying to bring her in behind closed doors and let's try and mollify her before this gets any more acrimonious. She won't have any of that. They're giving her the runaround with their Byzantine grievance filing and adjudicative processes and so forth, all the typical plays of these school bureaucracies. The great Deerfield schools, The great schools in the wealthy suburbs, the great Deerfield schools, the great Naperville schools, the great Barrington schools, the great North Shore schools. Right. Sure. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line.
Here's the part, because I watched the whole meeting on YouTube, and this is the orange-haired person who, I don't know if they have children, I don't know if they're from Deerfield, but this is when I would have lost my you-know-what.
Thank you to the board for prioritizing the safety of the student that's been targeted by a organization that weaponizes religion to push the white supremacist agenda of their cis white husbands.
People snapping like they're in a sorority.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. And so...
Excuse me. This
Right. The point is, this is the trans activist crowd.
And they're deciding what's right for our children?
Well, they descend on these places where there's controversy in numbers, like a pestilence, to intimidate and to silence. But what you heard from one motivated mom is she's not going to be silenced. And it was interesting, too. There were other people that spoke at that meeting last week. We didn't get to all of them, but to give you an example of what Nicole Georges is up against, too. It's not just the trans activists. It's men, in quotation marks.
Yeah.
No, he identifies as a man. I just don't identify him as a man. This is David Weisberg, I think is his name.
Okay.
Good evening, board members and neighbors. My name is David Weisberger. I've sent two children through District 109, and I'm here because our schools should be safe, inclusive places for all students where policies are based on facts and not fear-mongering. Let's be clear about what's happening. The claim that girls were forced to change in front of a boy isn't just misleading, it's a deliberate misrepresentation.
Really? Well, David Weisberger, Nicole Georges says audio. What do you got? Your ideology? Sitting there preening before those trans ghouls? Yeah, but this is what you're up against.
And loved.
You're up against men, male impersonators like David Weisberger. What a joke he is. Really? You just heard from Nicole Georges, too. Not that this is something I support, but even to offer the girl who has suddenly started identifying as a boy at age 12 or 13, however old, but that's about the age of the kids in question. You heard Nicole Georges that the gym teachers tried to say, well, just use the gender-neutral bathroom then.
Because that's why it's there.
Yeah, well, I disagree with that. But because you're still participating in a lie.
All right.
But they tried to offer a middle way, a compromise, so that there was not this acrimony. Mm-hmm. And that was rejected. Why was it rejected? Because they will not find any middle ground. There is no middle ground here. And I agree with them. You either believe that in biological reality or you don't. And that's how institutions should operate. But to the extent you want to offer a compromise, I mean, local control, okay, fine. To the extent that that's the consensus, you want to offer a compromise. But it is interesting to note and important to note that compromise was rejected not by Nicole Georges, but by the trans ideologues and people like David Weisberger. I sent two kids through there, right? Really, you have no problem with your with prepubescent girls in spaces with men, boys and men who are unclothed or changing. I mean, this is how the ideology just eats away at your gray matter. You no longer have the ability to be commonsensical. You become the sentimental barbarian that I talk about all the time. There's an illustration of it. You just heard it. Ralph and Rantoul.
Hey, good morning. Sorry about the voice. I'm getting over a cold.
My little tiny baby sister lives in Aurora. She and her husband are conservative Christians, yet they allowed their children to be raised by these leftists in the Aurora school system. And then it got perfected when one kid went to Baylor, and one kid went to UW-Madison, one kid went to IU Bloomington, and all three of them are raving leftists. And my brother-in-law wrings his hand and, throws ash in the air and rents his clothes and says, God, how did this happen? This is not the way we talk and live in our house. And I tell him, I said, dude, you outsourced your parenting to these leftists. So my point is, if the parents hearing this don't join in the fight and they go, well, my kid's not being forced to change in front of some transvestite weirdo, well, you know what? Your kids' minds are still being polluted by the people who subscribe to these lies. Take control and fight back.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. Something else, too. These institutions, these government schools, the incidence of child predation at these schools. We had another one reported yesterday out of Downer South High School.
Former soccer coach.
That was a woman on a 15-year-old boy, which is the unusual version, but it's a version.
It happens.
I mean, again, the Shake Shaft report and the updating, all the people that love to jeer at the Catholic Church and scold the Catholic Church, and it deserved to be jeered at and scolded for the child predation it allowed. No question about it. But why a blind eye when it comes to government schools? 1 in 10 children in a government school will be sexually molested. 1 in 10 in a system of 50 million kids nationwide. And that Shake Shaft report, as I mentioned before on the show, there were research that within the last few years that went back to look at that report, which was about the turn of the century. Carol Shake Shaft, an academic, was the author of that report. And not only did it verify her findings, it suggested that number may be too low.
Really?
The relook at the Shake Shaft report. Let me give you, and all these activists, since they were present in Deerfield, all these activists.
So angry.
Angry is the least of it. Let me introduce you just an example. Stephen Ireland, over in Surrey, across the pond in England. Stephen Ireland.
Oh, isn't he the founder?
Hello, I'm Stephen Ireland from Pride in Surrey. The team and I at Pride in Surrey are committed to campaigning and advocating for trans rights, and we challenge any unacceptable behaviours or practices that we may see. We stand with our trans, non-binary and intersex siblings, not just during Trans Awareness Week, but all year round.
Stephen Ireland was found guilty of raping a 12-year-old boy.
Didn't he share him, too, with some 27-year-old? I mean, it's just disgusting and despicable what they did.
That's just a smattering of headlines from the last year that I looked up. LGBTQ pride teacher arrested in Canada for child sex crimes. Florida Democratic Party official and LGBTQ rights activist arrested on child porn charges. Princeton grad LGBT activist who led queer alumni charged with possession of child porn. Bronx LGBTQ plus leader arrested for allegedly soliciting a minor for sex. Philly LGBTQ activist arrested for raping 2 children. Modesto, California, LGBTQ center director arrested in child predator operation. A former LGBTQ nonprofit leader was arrested and convicted of sexual abuse. U.S. pro-Israel LGBT group names new leadership after sexual misconduct scandal.
Oh, my gosh.
So this is not to say that every LGBTQ, 2S, IA, plus person is a criminal or child predator. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's an incidence of it. I'm saying just like every priest isn't a child predator, but there was an incidence of it. It bears looking into. So if it's good for the Catholic Church, which it was, to be investigated, to root it out, to institute new protocols, why isn't it good anywhere else? Why isn't it good in government schools? Why isn't it good with respect to this unusual incidents, given the representation in the in the larger population of LGBTQ activists that turn out to be child predators? Small percentage, big number, big problem. John in Lincolnwood.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. I just wanted to bring this to your attention. There's an app called Nextdoor. I'm sure you've heard of it. A lot of people in there are very left, and I'm always on there getting either reported or suspended for my comments. I wanted to bring this up because a mom, I don't know who posted it, but they posted the names and the pictures of all three of these women that in the Deerfield school that are responsible for this. Unfortunately, I didn't take a screenshot, so I can't give it to you. But anyway, I was on there arguing with a whole bunch of leftists, and not arguing in a bad way. I just said, hey, how can you be for this? How can you? I mean, I said, it is unbelievable. This is a boy changing with young girls. Do you understand what's happening here? Do you understand that there are privacy laws? I mean, I don't care what Pritzker passed. I mean, he's an idiot. But and then I got reported. And the post was brought down.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Robin, my friend Robin is every time I post something, she's on there and she's making sure that I get reported. And actually, my account was suspended for like 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh!
Well, you're probably making somebody feel unsafe, and that's all that's required. You just have to use those buzzwords, and then the minders at most of those sites or chat apps will, of course, act accordingly. Yeah. Thanks for the call, John. Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. I shouldn't be surprised.
Sheila in Arlington Heights.
Hi, I'm just wanting to comment on your previous caller who said we need to fight back now after losing his nieces and nephews who went away to college and became kind of brainwashed. And he's advocating to fight back now at the college level, but I'm saying we need to fight back at the kindergarten level, because we have government schools that have an all-day kindergarten program where you drop your, 5-year-old off at 7 in the morning, and you don't have to pick that kid back up until 6 o'clock at night if they stay for the before and after care. And that is where the brainwashing is really settling in. And I see it in my own school district, and I see it in around the U.S., and that's where we need to fight back. Even if you don't have kids in elementary school or high school, you need to go to these board meetings and hear what is going on in school and read some of the literature that they're supporting. I know in my own school district, they don't refer to kids as boys and girls. They call them scholars and intellectuals.
Oh, come
on. So it starts at a very young age, and we need to fight back now. It's about now, no matter what you're in.
Boy.
That is sickening.
Thanks for the call. Scholars and intellectuals. Scholars. I mean, with due respect,
you have to earn it?
What these schools are today, boy, talk about misnomering.
And it's crazy, too, with this tampons in every bathroom. I mean, I've now heard of a second school where the toilets were all stopped up because boys thought it was funny. Let's stick the little rocket things in the toilet.
Grant in Rockford.
Good morning, you guys. This story makes me sick. There should be at these meetings, if you don't pay property taxes in the district or have a child or some sort of dog in the fight, you should not be able to speak up at these meetings. And just these disgusting stories make me so happy that we homeschool our daughter. It is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but I believe it will be worth it. And my daughter knows the difference between boys and girls. Thanks, guys.
Wait, hey, hold, Grant. I wanted to know if he calls his daughter a scholar or an intellectual. Oh, that is really rich.
That is.
I'm going to remember that one.
Oh, you'll never forget it.
Linwood, West Washington. Linwood, Washington, the majority on that municipal board. Because we got spring elections April 1st. Are you paying attention? Are you paying attention to who's running for school board, who's running for
village trustee,
village or city offices, township offices?
Mayor of Arlington Heights.
This past Monday in Linwood, Washington, they made an appointment to their city council for a vacant position, and they chose Neil Vincent Roberts over an Army combat veteran. Neil Vincent Roberts now goes by Jessica Ann Roberts and is an OnlyFans model.
Oh, of course.
He's an OnlyFans model, identifying as a she, with a Reddit account that describes women as being, quote, prey, and expressing a, quote, uncontrollable desire to impregnate and eat them.
Okay, that's creepy. And that hasn't been flagged?
Well, it's been flagged enough that I've got this information about it, but not enough that that he was not appointed to the city council in Linwood, Washington. Phil in Norridge.
Well, you mean his comments weren't flagged anywhere while he was running? Hey, the Catholic Church pays out. The public schools don't. The communists redefine the English language, and we've all been punished when we speak up for 30 years, maybe 40 years. And when you look at all these children that are being taken advantage of, the real criminals are the people in charge of us, we'll say from the governor's office on down, who do nothing. They don't arrest these people, okay? And I have family who own a prostitution brothel in Vegas. They're grooming these kids. That's what this is about. And you're in an armed country. If you were not in an armed country, they would be rabidly raping your children and burning your homes down. That's why they twinkle through the tulips with all these little politically correct comments and redefining the English language so that it's like a slow elixir for everybody's brain until something happens. And you look at these poor mothers, because I'll tell you what, I pulled my kids out of schools 2-3 times over way less than this, way less. As a father, way less than this. And there is no way I can see a trans reading hour or these kind of school employees doing these things to children with a father involved. Because I know what a father is, and I know how I would react if someone did this to my daughter. Matter of fact, I made jokes about it to my kids, and I always tell them, you're not allowed to be naked with your teachers, just to kind of get them to think. And, I hate to say it, most men would highly overreact. I know I would.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Phil. David Weisberger wouldn't, up in the actual school district in question. I'll tell you, it'd be interesting to see what Deerfield police do on this.
I know.
Assuming Nicole Georges follows through with filing that report, because, of course, over the top of the Deerfield police, you have the Lake County State's Attorney's Office, and that is held, that position, Lake County State's Attorney, is held by Eric Reinhardt, who is the honky male version of Kim Fox up there in Lake County, the enlightened Lake County voters who have made Eric Reinhardt the only other state's attorney in the state to support the Safety Act, and he's on board with, of course, the entire ideological left's agenda. Be interesting to see how that plays out, and if that results in more scales falling from more eyes, we'll keep track of the story. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. Are you an administrator, staff member, or parent volunteer at a private school? Would you like to grow your current enrollment and welcome new families to your school? If so, we want to tell you about a great opportunity to help increase enrollment and promote your school to families all across Chicagoland. It's called ChicagolandSchoolVouchers.com. They work to connect private schools with new families who are looking for discounted first-year tuition. In exchange, your school will receive a marketing campaign to help grow your enrollment. Chicagoland School Vouchers does all the work to bring new families together with your school and help you expand your reach. They've been working with schools across Chicagoland for over a decade. As the demand for school choice grows here in Illinois, your private school needs to take advantage of this program. To learn more, just visit ChicagolandSchoolVouchers.com. That's ChicagolandSchoolVouchers.com.
Jeff Tishlar, author of High Tech versus the Highest Tech, has shared his knowledge of the spectacular things that we see in nature as opposed to what man has created, and how this should inform one's faith. Jeff served on the mission field all over the world and has created this highly illustrated and concisely written technical book. The easy-to-read format is understood from the youngest reader to the most intelligent and mature readers. Google and Amazon book reviews include, "This is the best little book I have ever read. It is amazing how much information is in this book." And a beautifully written and illustrated book. The author has a gift for describing complicated technical details in a very understandable style. This book is available now in paperback on Amazon. Search High Tech versus the Highest Tech by Jeff Tishlar. 100% of proceeds go to missions. That's High Tech vs. the Highest Tech by Jeff Tishlar.
So, what'd you call me over here to see, buddy?
Well, wait till you see the new set of wheels
Whoa, would you look at this garage floor? Wow, buddy, is this a new coating?
Well, yeah, but...
It's so smooth and shiny. It looks like a showroom in here. Wow, looks easy to keep nice and clean, too.
Yeah, it is, but...
Man, I've been thinking about getting a new coating. This is a sweet-looking garage floor.
You happen to notice my new Corvette?
Oh, huh. That's cool, too.
Level 10 Coatings, Chicagoland's premier concrete coatings company. We can improve the look of your garage, basement, office, or outdoor space with customized concrete coating solutions. As Chicagoland's only certified Cimarron installer, we're setting industry standards. Level 10 Coatings uses polyurea and polyaspartic coating, which is stronger than epoxy. Turn your ugly garage floor into a showroom floor this spring. Mention Amy Jacobson to receive $500 off any new project. Visit level10coatings.com to schedule today, or call 855-510-2628. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Should Cook County and the state of Illinois, the Illinois Prisoner Review Board, be held accountable for the death, the murder of 11-year-old Jaden Perkins? We'll start there with Ted Dabrowski, 737.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Nikki Whaley.
Good morning. It's 47 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. President Trump on Monday ended Secret Service protection for former President Biden's son Hunter and daughter Ashley. Trump called the number of people assigned to their detail ridiculous and said their protection would be revoked immediately. Under federal law, ex-presidents and their spouses receive lifelong Secret Service protection. However, their children are only guaranteed that protection if they're under the age of 16. Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle is running for re-election next year. The 78-year-old announced plans yesterday to seek a fifth term to lead the nation's second most populous county. Preckwinkle cited concerns with the Trump administration as a reason to run again. She served as Cook County's board president since 2010. News is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join.
Larry Elder explains the real problem.
It's not about the deficit. The deficit is just the gap between how much money the government takes in and how much it spends. You can close that by simply raising taxes. The real issue is the size, scope, and intrusiveness of government. And I've said this before, can't do this now politically or even morally, but at some point, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid have to be addressed.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Reveille. Later today, stranded American astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams will hopefully, and in all likelihood, return safely to Earth. A trip to the International Space Station that was to last just days left them stuck in space for 9 months. Their return is entirely the result of Elon Musk's SpaceX operation, which built and launched the spacecraft that safely arrived on Sunday and will return them today. The astronauts in a video message publicly thanked Musk and President Trump for their rescue. According to reports, Musk offered to send his spacecraft to the station months ago, but President Biden refused, worried that it would look like a victory for Trump in the middle of the campaign, since Musk was closely aligned with Trump. Democrats preferred to sacrifice astronauts over giving Trump any advantage. At the same time, Elon Musk's spaceship is scheduled to land with Wilmore and Williams on board. The DuPage Democrats have planned a Tesla takedown protest outside the Tesla dealership in Lisle. This protest event comes after canceling Henry Hyde. They are staging the protest to encourage resistance against Musk for reining in useless and fraudulent spending. Stand up and fight back against an unelected billionaire, they say. But the American people overwhelmingly support Musk's efforts, and that Tesla dealership is a thriving business that provides jobs and lots of sales tax revenue. To protest Tesla, the most successful electric vehicle company in the world, is to eschew their virtues of a green economy, proving their green goals were only political talking points. It's no wonder NBC polls show support for the Democrat Party is just 27% among registered voters. Keep it up, DuPage Democrats. To save the republic, we need more people to be exposed to your radical, nonsensical, and hypocritical ideas. I'm Jeannie Ives. Check out The Real Story with me Sunday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. and sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com.
Hey, Carl Jackson here for Dennis Prager. While Dennis Prager is recuperating, we know you miss your daily dose of Dennis. That's why Pragertopia is giving you a special gift. Right now, Pragertopia members can hear the best 2 hours of Dennis's favorite segments from as far back as 2010. On Monday, you can hear the Happiness Hour.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what I'm about.
Tuesday is Celebrity Guest Day.
Donald Trump Jr. is in studio with me.
On Wednesday, it's the Male-Female Hour.
I really do wish there were a way to ascertain the number of marriages that this hour has helped.
Thursday, the Ultimate Issues Hour.
Not having ultimate issues clarity is like having a map, but you don't know where you're going.
And Friday is Open Lines.
Feel free to ask me anything about me, about you, about life.
So if you're missing your daily dose of Dennis, go to Pragertopia.com and hear all your favorite segments along with lectures, celebrity interviews, and his famous Torah teachings and more. Get your daily dose of Dennis at Pragertopia.com, Pragertopia.com.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The Kennedy inbound, it is now 50 minutes from O'Hare into downtown. Outbound side of the Kennedy, it is stop and go from the Byrne interchange to Montrose. That's that ongoing road work there. 36 minutes from downtown out to the airport. On the Eisenhower, 58 minutes from Jane Addams to Congress. It is running 40 in from Wolf Road. Stevenson Building, not too bad though, 54 minutes from the Veterans to DeSoto Lakeshore Drive to Dan Ryan. Inbound, that is now stop and go. It is 30 minutes from 95th into downtown. Traffic is a service of Anthony DeGrado, your local State Farm agent. Combine your home, your auto, and your life insurance. Anthony DeGrado and his team will do the work for you. Visit DeGradoSF.com. Reporting this morning from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Now, your official weather forecast.
A warmer day today, times of clouds and sun, breezy and a high pushing 70. Clouds and mild tonight, low 56. Breezy and mild periods of rain, thunderstorm for tomorrow. Could bump into some damaging wind and hail, the high at 63. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when you're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. That theme music means it's time for our weekly conversation with Ted Dabrowski, president of Wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Last week, Latarius Smith filed suit in Cook County Circuit Court against the Illinois Prisoner Review Board, the Chicago Police Department, and the Cook County Sheriff's Office. The lawsuit alleges all of them essentially did nothing to prevent her former boyfriend from attacking her and her family, despite knowing he presented a clear threat to their safety and allegedly should have remained in police custody on other charges. By attacking her and her family, he stabbed her 11-year-old son, Jaden Perkins, to death in front of his 5-year-old brother, who was attempting to defend his pregnant mother against attacking her.
Why was he even out in the first place?
Kills an 11-year-old boy protecting his pregnant mom in front of his 5-year-old brother.
All those lives will never be the same.
The attack came a day after he was released from prison per an order from the Illinois Prisoner Review Board. He was serving a 16-year prison sentence on convictions related to home invasion and aggravated assault. He had been paroled in October of 2023. However, police took him back into custody in February of 24 after Lataria Smith, the former girlfriend, mom in question here, told police that he sent her threatening text messages and allegedly attempted to force his way into the apartment that she shared with her 2 children, despite an order of protection forbidding him to do so. So that's called a violation of parole back in custody. According to court documents, when the assailant was later confronted by a parole officer about a mom's accusations, ex-girlfriend's accusations, of course he lied, telling officers he was merely looking for an apartment. He was taken back to Statesville on multiple parole violations. However, on March 12th, the Illinois Prisoner Review Board nonetheless released this guy from custody after a hearing. And then he lied at the IRB. He lied at the IRB hearing about going to his ex-girlfriend's home. But Illinois Prisoner Review Board reportedly accepted his version of events, never following up on the ex-girlfriend's allegations against him, including declining to ask the ex-girlfriend to testify and tell her account of the events before they ordered his release. That was March 12th. March 13th, he goes there and kills the 11-year-old son. These fracking people.
I know. And by all accounts, I know a couple that knows Perkins, a little boy who died, and he's just a loved child. He was very popular at his school, and they're just heartbroken.
Of course, he's 11 years old. Goodness sakes.
Heartbroken.
So, I mean, this is the Pritzker regime. This is the Illinois Prisoner Review Board that released cop killers that were supposed to spend the rest of their lives in prison, as we mentioned on the show, to no particular avail. There's just some people, maybe a majority of the electorate in Illinois, you just can't inveigh upon. It doesn't matter the grotesqueness of what is done at the hands of the people they elected. It really doesn't. It's so sickening. They're just such sickening people. And unfortunately, we don't have enough people that sort of have the moxie of a Nicole Georges to start speaking truth to some of these sickening people and the disgusting, inhumane death and destruction that they cause. Now, this suit probably doesn't survive a motion to dismiss because of sovereign immunity, even if it's if it's only qualified with any of these entities. I mean, this could clearly be argued gross negligence, but probably not. But I'm glad that Lataria Smith filed it anyway, to bring attention to it. Yeah, Illinois and Chicago are safer with these folks on the watch, right? I mean, I know she filed suit against the sheriff and the police, but this is really a decision-making on the other side of the justice system. Right. This is the governor. This is his Illinois Prisoner Review Board. He makes the appointments. This is your... on the prosecution side of the criminal justice system, more so on the cop side, but you fold all the agencies that touch the case in. I understand that. For more on this and other topics, let's be joined by Ted now. Ted, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Yes, all that is sick, and it all stems back from Pritzker's and Johnson's and Lightfoot's and Preckwinkle's kind of DEI equity lens that they see everything through.
Hey, Preckwinkle's running for re-election. That's so good. I was hoping she was going to stay at least through her 80s, if not into her 90s.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah.
So, it all adds up to, we did a piece a while back called The Calculus of a Chicago Criminal, but I guess it could be for the state too. But, you've got a demoralized, restricted police who, has a hard time doing their job. You've got we're up to 6% arrest rate now. There's, some 68,000 arrests. Crimes, 68,000 reported crimes and only about 4,000 arrests. You got all the unreported crimes, of course. Then you got the 911 calls that don't get responded to. And you get the soft mayor and the soft prosecutor, soft judge. And, it's just go commit the crimes because you can. And your likelihood of getting stopped in Illinois, and particularly in Chicago, is almost zero when you look at the probability of being punished.
And people are surprised, the upwardly mobile set that maybe still goes downtown occasionally for dinner and a show. They're surprised. I hear this all the time. But I was surprised to see how the number of vacancies, the retail vacancies in River North on the Gold Coast. Oh, yeah, it's a real shock. Gee, why do you think that is, you nitwit? What do you think? Do you have any ideas about why that is? You think it's all Brandon Johnson's fault because that's what everybody's telling you? Is that the depth of your understanding? I hear it all the time. I'm just surprised. What's going on in the city? I hear it's not safe. I see all these vacancies. Yeah. Real mystery.
Real mystery. Well, yeah, and you can see it when you go down. I think where was I? Either on State or Michigan Ave, one or the other. And there's a spot where it's all just boarded up windows. But it's nothing there. I mean, where did the retail go?
Well, look at the Bloomingdale's building. Somebody on YouTube or TikTok went inside there. I mean, every store is closed. Everything's gone. It's like a ghost town. It's purely. I mean, it's just a resounding. Just remark on what's happening to our city of Chicago, and it's only going to get worse because why would any level-headed business person want to set up shop there?
Gradually, then suddenly. I want to take a judicial notice of this latest report that you did over at wirepoints.org, Ted Dabrowski. Let's take a gander at Governor Jelly Belly's performance when it comes to job creation in Illinois. What's happened with the job creation in Illinois under his tenure? Because I know he's turned this into a hub of entrepreneurial activity and growth, and it's a magnet for business investment and capital formation and all kinds of good stuff, so I'm told.
Yeah, I mean, when you listen to him speak, you would think that, Illinois is Florida or Texas. But when you look at the numbers, it's the exact opposite. So we have new numbers out from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so we can do full 2024 comparison, and John Klingner, our analyst, has done all this, and he compares 2024 to 2019 when Pritzker took over, and we have embarrassingly fewer private sector jobs today on average for the average of 2024 versus 2019, fewer jobs today than when Pritzker took office. And you compare that with Texas, 1.2 million more jobs. Florida with almost 1 million new jobs, and we have fewer jobs, lost jobs. And, what is that, the third worst in the country for private sector jobs. All of our neighbors grew. Indiana grew by almost 100,000 jobs. Same for Kentucky. Again, we lost jobs. So the record is dismal. And the only reason we grew jobs over that period was, guess what, because government jobs grew. Not by much, but they grew just enough to put us in the positive. So it's really the government sector that kind of saved us. But barely. But
yes,
the
government sector will save us. Oh, yes. Where have I heard that before? That seems like that's the operative philosophy of the political ruling class. The government will save us. Not if you're a private sector that finances it continues to dwindle. But, I digress. So wait, so we have less private sector jobs than when Jelly Belly took office, and that place that nobody goes to, Indiana. They have 100. They created 100 times more private sector jobs than Jelly Belly have been created under Jelly Belly during the same time period.
Yeah, that place that he was dissing just the other day when the Indiana
nobody goes to Indiana.
Was trying to woo over those counties. It's growing. It's Indiana's growing.
Huh.
I mean, most of the country's growing. We're not.
I wanted to get your take on this, Ted, because much to the criticism that you have lodged against the Chicago Teachers Union, I think you've suggested that they may be asking for a bit much with their latest contractual demands. Well,
they made a video
Yeah, well, let's see if you're not persuaded to think otherwise.
Oh, we're asking for too much? My bad. I just want my students to have clean drinking water.
Oh, we're asking for too much? My bad. I'd like class sizes that allow me to teach, not just crowd control.
Oh, we're asking for too much? My bad. I just want the district to actually use the money it has to invest in our schools.
We're asking for too much? My bad. I think evaluations should be able to help teachers and not push them out of the profession.
Wow.
Why do you want to push teachers out of the profession while they preside over large classes with poor drinking water?
That's scary stuff. It's interesting. One of the negotiations they're trying to do is do fewer evaluations of teachers who are veterans.
Right.
And, if we've seen anything, CPS almost gets 100% rating for all teachers for, either excellent or proficient. So I'm not sure why they would want to delay that. It sounds like everything's going well for them.
But aren't they rating themselves?
No, they don't rate themselves.
Okay.
But God knows what actually happens. But it's a supervisor or a qualified reviewer. So.
And just on the investment side, I mean, I guess that's the fancy word they use for spending, taxpayers. Illinois State Board of Education, you had this story too. So is this real spending between 2000 and 2024?
Mm-hmm.
So 16 round numbers, 16 billion to 44 billion in 24 years.
It's up tremendously. What's up from what is that from? Let me just I have to pull up the numbers. It's up 16 billion. So wait, we talking about for CPS?
K through 12 spending statewide. Because I mean, let's just say let's go statewide here. Statewide, 16 billion to 44 billion is what I see from your piece.
Yeah,
K through 12 education. But I understand in Chicago, and I'm sure I'd hear the same thing in the suburbs and everywhere else. We're not spending enough on K through 12. That's the problem.
No, I mean this is fascinating. How much more it is than inflation. Inflation at the state level we would have spent $30 billion. Instead, we're spending $44 billion. So we're spending $14 billion more than we probably should be, and that of course is largely going to then come out of people's property taxes. But you see no increased benefit from all that spending. We do about the same as everywhere else, but we spend a lot more. So I look at this and just say, man, we should be giving tons of money back to taxpayers, huge property tax relief. And, Chicago's having this fight right now. They're running out of money, and I think that's going to be the next big interesting thing is as it all plays out between Chicago and CPS as they fight over money, is that, we should forget raises for teachers at CPS. They should just be held flat, and we should be firing from our numbers, about 5,000 non-teacher, non-teaching staff employees. We could generate $500-600 million, if not more, just by cutting those costs and making it more efficient. And then CPS problems, at least in the short term, would be solved. But of course, that's never going to happen. But it's so fat there. They've hired so many people in the last 2 years since COVID, and they could just unwind the hires, close the empty schools, and a lot of the short-term fiscal problems would be wiped out.
Sounds maybe just crazy enough to work. At the state level, so that 2.5x increase in state spending on K through 12 over the last 25 years, real dollars, inflation adjusted, and that has resulted in proficiency in reading math that is 2.5 times better now than it was in 2000.
Yeah, right. It's funny. We pulled up the 2003 numbers and we compared them, 20 years ago to today. The results are exactly the same. And these are on the National Assessment Test. So this is a good like-for-like comparison. No change. All that money, all that effort, all that equity being put in, and you get nothing for it, except for huge property tax bills, because that's the bottom line, is that highest property tax bills, and you get nothing for it.
All right. Well, stay the course, Illinois. It's going well. Ted Dabrowski, President Wirepoints, wirepoints.org. Thanks as always, Ted. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Virago is fending off viruses and making America healthy again.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Huber. I'm one of the co-founders of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. Virago contains 23 natural ingredients that work synergistically to boost your immune system. Virago's natural ingredients also protect your heart, your brain, and your liver through its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Virago also promotes healthy gum health. So go to myvirago.com, that's MYVIROGO.com, and use promo code IMMUNE to get 30% off. And remember, Maha starts with Virago.
Boost your immune system with Virago. Order your bottle today. Visit myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com.
And use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%.
That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
Why do so many companies count on Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating? Consistent high level of quality, an ISO certified and A2LA accredited heat treating, electroplating, fastener sorting, and packaging job shop. Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating meets and exceeds client specifications. Whether a high volume or a small production run, their processes ensure a job well done. Celebrating their 15th anniversary this year, they specialize in metal fasteners and stampings for automotive and other industries. And with a newly expanded sorting department, there are many sorting and packaging options to meet your needs. Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating serves customers in Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Tennessee, with easy access to all forms of transportation from an automated facility in Riverdale, Illinois, just 15 minutes southwest of Chicago. Want consistent quality? Call Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating, 708-849-2050, or visit riverdalePHT.com.
At AlmostFreeTeeth.com, they're dedicated to making smiles great again. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save 90% off on average to get a beautiful dental implant-supported smile. Check if you qualify right now at AlmostFreeTeeth.com.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Enjoy uninterrupted programming from Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson around the clock, all day, every day, including daily replays of Chicago's Morning Answer on Dan and Amy 24/7. Listen now at danandamy247.com. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 8:08, we'll talk to our former colleague Steve Cortez about his new documentary, and we'll talk a little trade and tariffs as well. That's at 8:08.
Today, a high near 70 degrees with partly sunny skies. It is now 8 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Israel is waging war again in Gaza.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Israel will act against Hamas with increasing military intensity.
And they did overnight, just like Foreign Ministry spokesman Oren Marmerstein says.
Launching dozens of airstrikes throughout the Gaza Strip. Massive explosions rocked major population centers, including Gaza City, Khan Yunis, and Rafah.
Health officials in Gaza say more than 400 Palestinians have been killed, but Fox's Trey Yingst also reports from Tel Aviv.
Fox News cannot independently confirm the exact number. Among the dead are reported to be numerous senior Hamas officials, including Issam al-Da'alis, who was acting as one of the de facto leaders of Hamas. Funerals were held this morning for some of the dead. We know that many are civilians.
At some point this morning, maybe even now, President Trump expected to be on the phone with Russia's leader trying to end a different war.
We're getting down to a very critical stage, and we want to get the whole Russia-Ukraine thing done.
He's trying to get Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire like Ukraine already has. A federal judge is expecting answers by noon from the Trump administration over the weekend deportations of alleged gang members in the U.S. illegally under the rarely used Alien Enemies Act of 1798.
The judge is frustrated that the Trump administration did not follow his order to turn the planes back around. As Democrats warn of a constitutional crisis, the White House argues the flights were already in international airspace, so they maintain the judge's ruling no longer applies. Attorneys for the Justice Department also say the judge's verbal order was not definitive, and they say the president was acting within his authority to address what they say are national security concerns.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. It's baseball season, and they just played the Major League opening game in Tokyo, where Japanese star Shohei Ohtani scored 2 of the Dodgers' runs in Los Angeles' 4-1 win over the Chicago Cubs. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 47 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer Newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. The White House says absolutely not in response to a French politician suggesting the United States should return the Statue of Liberty.
My advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt took shots at Raphael Glucksmann, a member of France's parliament, during a briefing. Glucksmann made the comment at a convention in protest of federal firings of scientific researchers and Americans siding with tyrants. Police are searching for a suspect accused in staging a robbery on a CTA Green Line train. The crime happened last Wednesday afternoon near the Cicero station. The alleged offender demanded the victim hand over their money, phone, and wallet while threatening to hurt them. The suspect snatched the belongings and ran off the train car that pulled into the station. Police released an image of the suspect, who wore a black hooded jacket, gray pants, and carried a black bag. A Chicago man is admitting to fraudulently receiving a PPP loan of more than $14,000 while working for the Illinois State Police. State Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office prosecuted Ravon Hankins, who pleaded guilty Friday to theft. He's accused of fraudulently receiving a PPP loan from the U.S. Small Business Administration in April of 2021. News is a service of Valdecast Windows. For the discerning homeowner looking for high-quality and professional-level window replacement service, contact Valdecast Windows, your award-winning Platinum Elite Pella certified contractor. Visit Valdecast.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes, but now time for the Signature Bank Business Beat.
I'm Lauren Simonetti, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Google parent Alphabet has agreed to buy cybersecurity startup Wiz for $32 billion, according to Financial Times, citing sources. That would make it the biggest acquisition in the search giant's history and the biggest deal of the year so far. It would likely face scrutiny from the Federal Trade Commission, which has the ability to block large deals. Growth outlooks are out from the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and it's projecting that economic growth in the U.S. and several other countries will be dragged down by the growing trade war and uncertainty on trade and economic policy. Canada and Mexico are forecast to see the biggest impact, but the U.S. is also expected to see its growth hit. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
When you need to talk talk about what's happening today.
Hey, can I talk to you for a second?
There's one place you can come to. The Sean Thompson Show.
Do it! Do it, I dare you. Do it!
Get in the conversation.
Everybody talks about that show. Sounds great, doesn't he?
Weekdays starting at 4.
This is easy.
I like his honesty and his frankness. Every day I listen to him, I learn.
He says what's on his mind. He's real.
Best person out there to listen to.
We're combating people who prefer the lie.
He's Sean Thompson, only on AM 560. The Answer.
Wondering what future path your child or grandchild could take? While college is great for some, it's not the only way to build a successful, meaningful life. Skilled trades are in high demand and are full of gratifying opportunities. And getting there is less costly than college through apprenticeships and trade schools. So if your child likes working with their hands, consider the opportunities in construction, where thousands of positions are waiting to be filled. With trade schools and apprenticeship programs, you earn while you learn, providing hands-on experience, technical training, and a paycheck at the same time. Imagine no student loan debt, just a direct path to a rewarding career. Plus, skilled trades offer competitive salaries, often higher than some college grads, along with union benefits like health insurance and pensions. Steve Jobs said, "The only way of what you do." So if your child loves working with their hands, help them explore this incredible path. Construction could be their gateway to success. Learn more at thecontractorsassociation.wgc.org.
We always use M13. They can print anything.
They design and price match. M13 does amazing work.
M13 Graphics has helped make our brand stand out. They're definitely the best for less.
Before M13, amateur. With M13, we look awesome.
M13 Graphics, Chicago's leader in full-color design and printing. Set your business up for success with exceptional print products. Turned around in just 24 to 48 hours. Business cards, postcards, posters, banners, brochures, apparel, you name it. M13 will design and print nearly anything for your business. They have the right people in place and a reputation that keeps customers happy and coming back for more. They're a Chicago company that embodies the idea of business integrity. They live it every day. After all, in this country, you're free to do business with who you choose. Respect that freedom. Choose the best. For speedy turnaround, excellent service, and the best pricing in Chicagoland, choose M13 Graphics for all your design and printing. Online at M13.com. Visit M13.com or call now, toll free, 877-M13-1913. That's 877-M13-1913.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Reports of a crash in Oak Brook on Midwest Road at 22nd Street. It's off to the shoulder. The Edens stop and go outbound. Montrose out to Lake Cook at 26 minutes. Kennedy, it is an hour either way between O'Hare and downtown. You've got the outbound Kennedy heavy, real heavy through that road work between the Byrne Interchange and Montrose. The Kennedy, Eisenhower, that's running an hour and 5 minutes from the Jane Addams to Congress. Outbound Ike at 55 out to the Jane Addams from the old post office. Stevenson in at 56 minutes from 355 to DeSava Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan inbound. It is stop and go 30 minutes from 95th into downtown. And you've got that ongoing road work in Des Plaines on Wolf Road between Toohey and Gulf with varying lane closures. Traffic is a service of almostfreeteeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over. If you have a Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO or FEP, you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Learn more and check if you qualify at almostfreeteeth.com. Reporting today from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Now, your official weather forecast.
A warmer day today, times of clouds and sun, breezy and a high pushing 70. Clouds and mild tonight, low 56. Breezy and mild periods of rain, thunderstorm for tomorrow. Could bump into some damaging wind and hail, the high at 63. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Got milk? Well, if you're in Canada, it won't be American dairy, that's for sure. Trump sat down with Cheryl Atkinson, our friend who has the program Full Measure, to talk a little trade and tariffs, and he used the Canadian tariffs on milk as a way to highlight the point of unfair trade practices. Take a listen.
Our farmers may have a product such as what, and we sell it to Canada.
So we want to sell milk into Canada, and they throw a 270% price increase on the milk.
Which means we don't have much of a market.
Which means we don't sell milk in Canada. It's almost, it's called a monetary tariff, but they have a lot of non-monetary tariffs too. That's things unrelated to, they'll have a standard that they'll say you didn't meet or something. That's called a non-monetary.
So you put a tariff on what, for example, to try to counter the milk tariff?
Well, I can put a tariff on anything, but in the case of Canada, I put it on steel and aluminum.
They want to sell their stuff to us.
We have a lot of tariffs that we're going to be putting on. It really hits on April 2nd. And actually, we've been very consistent. I think a lot of people are loving what I'm doing. The real business people are loving it. We're going to make America rich again. But we're going to have tariffs on automobiles. We're going to have tariffs on steel. We're going to have tariffs on aluminum and copper and many, many different things. And they're going to be very consistent. And I've been very consistent.
There's one thing on Trump's reciprocal. There's a couple things, but one thing we haven't discussed that bears repeating, and including repeating by him. He should be making mention of this. So should Speaker Johnson and Senate Majority Leader Thune. This is pointed out by the Cato Institute, Scott Lincecum. The reciprocal tariff construct is we will charge the same thing that they charge us, no more, no less. The problem is Trump has power to do more, but not authority to do less. There are many instances in which other countries' tariffs are lower than America's. Trump needs a trade promotion authority, though, to reduce tariffs. Doesn't have the authority to do so on his own. As Lincecum explains, Article 1 gives Congress the power to regulate commerce with foreign nations, meaning the president can't change trade policy unless the statute authorizes it. It's easy to overlook this because Congress has offloaded substantial trade authority to the executive branch. But while Trump can raise tariffs in response to national security threats or unfair trade practices, Congress hasn't given him the authority to reduce them. They go back in conjunction with an academic from Youngstown State. They look at 2019. Trump was able to negotiate a trade deal with Japan, for example, that lowered or eliminated tariffs on 42 categories of imports. Great. Because Congress in 2015 gave his predecessor, that would be Obama, trade promotion authority, but that's temporary and it expired in 2021. So part of this conversation needs to start including Congress and the trade promotion authority the president needs to reduce tariffs as well as raise them if we're going to hew to this reciprocal construct. Kind of important. You want the ability to lower them, too, if ultimately the point here is to extract concessions that reduce trade barriers on both sides, opening markets to our goods and reducing the costs of goods that come from other countries that have a comparative advantage for our consumers. For more on this, and other topics, we're pleased to be joined by our former colleague, Steve Cortez, who is the founder of League American Workers. You can get his musings at stevecortez.substack. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Thanks for having me.
So that's been an under-discussed aspect of this trade policy and the approach that Trump is taking to leverage American economic might. We got to get Congress involved here and give him the ability to go down as well as go up.
Yeah, Dan, I do think that makes sense, as much as it pains me to agree with anything that the Cato Institute is promoting. The Koch brothers' open borders Cato Institute is certainly not my ideological ally about much of anything, but they seem to be correct on this point, that it does make sense, both carrot and stick authority regarding tariffs, the ability to raise as well as lower when appropriate tariffs. I agree with you. That does make sense. That seems like it's something that the Congress should get on.
And Trump saying that, you heard him say that, Cheryl Atkinson there, that the real business people like what he's doing. You concur?
Yes. No, I think that's definitely true. And by the way, we're seeing this for sure, small and medium-sized firms, right, who never had a seat at the table in terms of this managed trade. I think it's important to establish the idea of this so-called, quote, free trade. We've never had free trade, okay? It's always been incredibly managed trade. And largely managed against the interests of American workers and largely managed for the benefit of the executives of multinational conglomerates. Well, small and medium-sized businesses never had a seat at the table in terms of trying to construct the rules of that managed trade. And so I think they, most of all, appreciate what's going on now. But even big business, even those CEOs, a lot of them, and some of them are starting to be public, but many of them...
I think we just lost him.
I think that bump means that's exactly the case. All right, let's take a break, and we'll get Steve Cortez right back.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Rick Borick, host of Unleash Your Wealth, talks about the importance of tax planning in retirement.
A qualified financial planner can take you through all the steps to show you every single legal way you can use to reduce and minimize your state income taxes across the board so that, again, you keep more of your money and your family keeps more of your money.
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and our new time at 2 p.m. here on AM 560, The Answer.
Salem News Channel is America's fastest growing conservative TV network.
It's an absolute crazy day.
Home to the largest lineup of free speech champions anywhere. Delivering in-depth insight and unapologetic opinion on today's biggest news stories.
Americans aren't going to put up with this anymore.
SNC brings you the news that matters, told with integrity and clarity. Watch Salem News Channel free 24/7 on your television. Stream now on Xumo Play.
Honey, we're not moving, but we gotta do something about this kitchen.
Funny you mention it. I just stopped by Forever Remodeling's new showroom in Niles. I saw over a dozen kitchen and bathroom layouts they designed. They even offered to stop by the house and give us a free in-home design consultation.
What'd you tell them?
That we're free today?
Visit foreverremodeling.com today. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com. Forever Remodeling, stress-free and high-quality remodeling.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, wait, do we have Cortez or we don't have Cortez? No Cortez? No? Cortez. We're Cortez free. Okay, well, he's having some problems with his flip phone. In the interim, and he may have an opinion on this as well.
Yes.
We mentioned it a little bit talking to Frank, the history teacher from Arlington Heights, because he had this great commentary, which I'll post on X. It's one of his best to date, and they're always good, his in-depth history on the NCAA. And the governor of West Virginia, Republican, Morrissey, is potentially going to sue the NCAA over the Mountaineers being snubbed in favor of the Tar Heels from North Carolina.
312-642-5600. Oh.
Can I have
Attorney
audio?
General McCuskey to launch an investigation into the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee to determine if any backroom deals, corruption, bribes, or any nefarious activity occurred during the selection process. I know that the Attorney General and I are going to leave no stone unturned during this process.
I mean, I don't know. The idea of a governor getting involved in suing, there's a lot of swirl about the athletic director for North Carolina, who was Bubba Cunningham is the athletic director, and he was the chairman of the selection committee. And he was on CBS after the Big Ten championship on Sunday. He was asked about this, North Carolina getting in with only one quad one win, and I don't think they should have got in either. But he recused himself. He's not the only athletic director of a school that was selected for the tournament. That's part of the selection committee, and if your school is in a discussion, then the athletic director for that school is not part of the discussion that of the selection committee. So people are talking about Bubba Cunningham got a $100,000 bonus as part of his contract because North Carolina made the tournament. But he disclosed, and the vice chairman of the committee was there as well, that he didn't have any role in the decision to include North Carolina or not include North Carolina. And it basically came down to whether or not Memphis beat UAB in their conference. If UAB had won, Memphis would have also got in. North Carolina would be out. UAB didn't win. Memphis won. UAB is out. North Carolina's in. But there are some arguments that are being made by Hoosiers fans for Indiana, Ohio State, West Virginia, and I think was it Drake who was the first four out, and North Carolina was the last team in.
Just open it up to everybody. I mean, why not? I mean, what's an NCAA March Madness tournament without North Carolina? That's what they, it's a bigger get. People will, they'll just see the brackets and they'll see the Tar Heels and just put them in to, make it to the Sweet 16. But the West Virginia governor has
not anybody who knows anything about college basketball this year is not going to do that.
Well, I mean, West Virginia, they don't have any professional baseball teams or football teams or basketball teams. They have West Virginia basketball. And he's advocating, the governor is, for his team because they should be in the tournament. I mean, he calls it a miscarriage of justice and robbery at the highest level. I don't know about that, but clearly he's upset and he's fighting for his team. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get anywhere with it. The brackets are already out. Have you filled out one yet, Dan?
No, but my attorney general is going to investigate to know if there was any bribery or wrongdoing at the NCAA selection committees, and then the whole idea that we would sue the NCAA over West Virginia. First of all, I'm not sure that West Virginia was the next in. That's not clear to me. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. But, I mean, West Virginia was 19-13. Yeah, it had a better record with in quad one games than North Carolina, but that wasn't the only factor. The strength of schedule was about the same. But there are other variables and strength of conference and so forth. I don't think North Carolina should be in, but it doesn't necessarily mean that West Virginia was the best of the first four out. You can make a case for Indiana, I suppose. I don't think they should have been in either. North Carolina should not have been in. But just the whole idea of litigating it and spending time. I mean, I just think it's a little hokey, Tony in Downers Grove.
The governor of West Virginia has nothing better to do than to sue the NCAA. Now, is he chirping at them about all the money that's being given to the players, the unfettered amount of money that's being given to the players, and then after 1 year, they could transfer and make more money?
Yep.
It has nothing to do with education. But let's worry about the fact that his state school didn't get into the NCAA.
Well, right. Thanks for the call, Tony. But that's why, because the boosters that provide the financing for all the NIL money that's distributed probably are pressing him to do so, too. But, we see this happen. This is not the first time you've had a politician weigh in when you feel like a state school or one of the schools in your state has been slighted. We saw that a couple years ago in the college football playoff with Florida State.
Well, that's right.
But it's just the whole thing to get politicians involved in this just seems a bit. When politicians get involved, it just seems like a bit. I don't know. Unless there's evidence that something was wired up, not just sort of like creating an appearance of conflict of interest that has been addressed, and there's no evidence to support that anything other than the established protocols were followed. I just think that, come on. But North Carolina should have been out. There's no question about that.
Yeah, they're having a bad year. They're having what we call a rebuilding year, right? A lot of text messages. Don't you have other blank to deal with, you blank blank? We're losing our democracy, and you're worried about losing an NCAA bid.
Well, yeah. I mean, West Virginia, they've got things, squared away over there, much more so than, say, Illinois. But
do they have a budget surplus?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to see a conservative like Morrissey get involved in some of these silly gambits to, placate the the home team's fans, as it were. It wasn't a bad year of West Virginia, but
Well, if they got in, it would help with recruiting. The whole thing.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
All right, we don't need more litigiousness in sports than already exists. But I'm gonna make sure to go back read Frank from Arlington Heights commentary though, because
you're gonna exit out.
It was a good riff on the super conferences and the silliness of it all, and that these smaller conferences, don't have they don't have the same cachet and rivalries and ability to earn at-large berths, which has long been a problem. But particularly the rivalries, because these conferences are getting so spread out and bastardized, I think is a really good point that Frank makes. Anyway, you can find it on X. Dan, or listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Take control of your dialysis journey with Vitality Dialysis, where home dialysis meets personal freedom. Manage your dialysis treatments from the comfort of home. No more tedious traveling to clinics nor adjusting your life around the clinic's hours. With Vitality Dialysis, you'll spend less time traveling, less time feeling sick, and more time living life on your terms. Their cutting-edge home dialysis program and innovative home treatment technology gives you the flexibility, independence, and greatly improved personalized care that you deserve. The expert clinical team at Vitality Dialysis provides comprehensive in-home training, along with equipment, supplies, labs, and medications. This includes 24/7 support and ongoing monitoring and guidance, so you feel safe and supported. Plus, it's covered by most insurance plans. Visit vitalitydialysis.com to schedule your personalized consultation. That's vitalitydialysis.com, or call 224-367-6162. Your health, your home, your way. Vitality Dialysis.
Everybody's talking about it, including Joe Rogan, who recently mentioned on his podcast his positive results with regenerative medicine. So listen up. If you're having pain just by doing the simplest things in life, walking, getting in and out of your car, walking upstairs, walking into work, if you have chronic pain in your hip, knees, shoulder, elbows, we have a solution. It's called QC Kinetics. Pain due to an injury or arthritis. So here's what you do. Call our good friends at QC Kinetics. They offer a free consultation. They'll walk you through the process. They'll tell you all about regenerative medicine and how it helps. They'll find out whether or not you're a good candidate for regenerative treatments. So do not wait. Call them today for that free consultation. Saturday appointments available. And folks, they have offices all around the Chicagoland area. The number to call, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. Again, 312-809-5955.
In 2012, the Journal of Cognition and Emotion published a study that showed that we make a decision to trust a person within 100 milliseconds of seeing their face. Making a good first impression has never been more important, and you can make that positive impression with a professional headshot from Tom Killoran Photography. Whether you're a job seeker trying to land your next position, or you're looking to build your business by connecting with prospective clients and customers, you need a high-quality headshot to use with your resume, portfolio, website, or other marketing materials. The experts at Tom Killoran Photography can work with you to capture the exact look you need for your professional presentation. Tom Killoran Photography is also the official photographer for AM 560 The Answer. To learn more and to see a sample of their work, just visit KilloranPhotography.com. That's KILLORAN Photography.com, or call them at 708-361-0025. Tom Killoran Photography, capturing important life moments for over 30 years.
AM 5.
How to think about your portfolio in these tumultuous times in the market. That's 8:38.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Nikki Whaley.
Good morning. It's 47 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. Damage assessment is continuing across parts of the South and Midwest hit hard by several rounds of punishing storms this past weekend. The death toll stands at least 42 as many states are working to recover from the tornadoes, heavy rain, wildfires, and dust storms that slammed the region. It appears the majority of the deaths are blamed on the severe weather outbreak that happened in Missouri, where at least 12 were killed. A Chicago man is charged in the shooting death of a woman inside of a nightclub in West Suburban Stone Park earlier this month. Authorities say Zuma Daniela Cauldron Paccio was shot and killed by a security guard at Mansion Live on West Lake Street on March 8th. The security, Kevin Henley Jr., faces charges of involuntary manslaughter and aggravated unlawful use of a weapon. News is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over. If you have a Blue Cross Blue Shield, PPO, or FEP, you could save 90% off on average. To get your smile back, learn more and check if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
When you need to talk about what's happening today,
hey, can I talk to you for a second?
There's one place you can come to. The Sean Thompson Show.
Do it! Do it, I dare you. Do it!
Get in the conversation.
Everybody talks about that show. Sounds great, doesn't he?
Weekdays starting at 4.
This is easy.
I like his honesty and his frankness. Every day I listen to him, I learn.
He says what's on his mind. He's real.
Best person out there to listen to. We're combating people who prefer the lie.
He's Sean Thompson, only on AM 560. The Answer.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
So how's the separation going? Are you guys able to work things out?
No. I think we're headed for divorce.
That sucks. Going to be an expensive legal battle?
Well, no, that's one thing we agree on, actually. Arbitration.
Arbitration? Like mediation?
Sort of, but better. We'll have a firm decision.
Oh, that's easier. Who's your arbitrator?
Bert Hochberg.
That attorney at Schiller, DeCanto, and Fleck?
Yeah, senior partner. Comes highly recommended.
Are you facing divorce or a family law issue? Burton S. Hochberg offers arbitration services, a dispute resolution process that will save you time, money, and the complexity of litigation. Let Burton hear and resolve your claims with choices that best suit you and yours. To discuss, call Bert directly. Or even better, have your attorney call Bert at 773-255-6150. That's 773-255-6150. Again, 773-255-6150. No one knows arbitration like Bert Hochberg. Why go through a difficult divorce? Call Bert at Schiller, DeCanto, and Fleck, Chicago's preeminent family law firm since 1981.
Come on! on with this, people. Move it!
Did you really think you could make that company deliver yourself?
Oh, I cannot handle any more traffic.
You could be getting much more done at your place of business.
I've wasted 45 minutes and now this place is gonna close.
Time is money. Let Quick Delivery Service take on the traffic hassle for you. They'll deliver almost anything, from large pallets of materials to important documents, or both. No forms, no labels, no scanning. Just tell Quick Delivery Service where it's going, they'll pick it up, and get it to your destination quickly. Your cargo delivery is tracked in real time with GPS. Notifications are delivered right to your inbox. Visit quickdelivery.com. That's quickdelivery.com. Or you can deliver like this.
Seriously, another train?
Or get your delivery there on time with quickdelivery.com. Or call 847-534-2244. 847-534-2244.
This hourly segment brought to you by Unleash Your Wealth with Raj Shah and Rick Borick this Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. Learn more at scwealthadvisors.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Heaviest right now, the Kennedy outbound. This is stop and go between the Byrne interchange and Montrose. Then it's slow again from Lawrence to Central, downtown out to O'Hare. It's going to take you 46 minutes to the airport. Inbound side of the Kennedy, that's at 50. A crash in Oak Brook at Midwest and 22nd. A tow truck on the scene, that's getting cleared away. Ongoing road work in Des Plaines. This impacts Wolf Road from Toohey and Gulf, between Toohey and Gulf, varying lane closures in place. And an accident on the Reagan, I-88, headed westbound. This is just before the ramp to the Tri-State 294, headed southbound. This report is sponsored by Rocket. Rocket is giving every home one address, rocket.com, a single, seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, even refinance your home. Everything you need all under one roof. Visit rocket.com, the new home for all things home ownership. Rocket, own the dream. Reporting today from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Joanne Jeanette.
Now, your official weather forecast.
A warmer day today, times of clouds and sun, breezy and a high pushing 70. Clouds and mild tonight, low 56. Breezy and mild periods of rain, thunderstorm for tomorrow. Could bump into some damaging wind and hail, the high at 63. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has been one of the main spokeshumans for the administration when it comes to explaining to the Investotainment folks at CNBC and the rest of the nation, for that matter, what the game plan here is with the Trump administration, both on the spend side as well as on the trade side. He was at it again.
One of the reasons I came out from behind my desk and asked President Trump if I could join the campaign, then when he asked me to be in the cabinet, was because I was so alarmed by this high level of government spending. We've never seen anything like this. Highest level ever when we weren't in a war or in a recession. So the Biden administration relied on this blowout spending, back to the mainstream media. No one criticized it when they were doing it because it was for the great and the good. It was for green programs. It was for this. It was for overseas engagement. Now what we're trying to do is do a course correction where we bring down the government, we deleverage the government and re-lever the private sector. And we're going to do that by cutting spending, the lowering interest. We'll get a natural lowering of interest rates. And then on the other side, as we re-lever the private sector, we plan to deregulate the banking system, which was one of the things I talked about at the Economic Club of New York last week. So as we allow as we unshackle a regulated banking system, they can lend to the private sector, and especially Main Street, which has been overlooked, so small regional banks, small banks, community banks, and So as the government comes down, the private sector will go up. Government will shed excess labor, and there's plenty of it, and then the private sector will pick it up.
That sounds good, I'm sure, to my friends at Signature Bank here in Chicago. In addition to a clean break from the philosophy of the previous administration, which, of course, nicely articulated by the big guy years ago, coming out of the Great Recession of 2008-2009, when he said as vice president, we need to keep spending in order to prevent going bankrupt. Right. So, but the markets like the sugar high. They like the funny money. And so what is an investor to do in these volatile times? Tim Stearns is the president and founder of TJ Stearns and Arlington Heights. Also the host of Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement. That is Saturdays from noon to 1 p.m. on these airwaves. Tim, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan. Thanks for having me.
So are you picking up what Basent is laying down?
Yeah, I am. I have 3 boys, and I coached all of them through their lives. And what I'm seeing is, a lot of people, when I coach them, when they're having problems in sports and that type of thing, I would tell them, get back to the fundamentals and remember what got you to where you are now. And so that's what I'm trying to explain to these investors who've been thinking that the market's going to always go up. And so I kind of came with some bullet points today about having success in the markets and getting back to the fundamentals.
And what are some of those?
I mean, some of them is ascertaining how much risk you actually have in your portfolio. I saw so many people who have been, sucked into the hype of the markets that they're always going to go up. They're always going to go up. But unfortunately, the markets are supposed to retract about on average every 7 years. And we've been really blessed with a great market, but the market does have ways to not reward foolish investors.
Well, we've been blessed, but as we've talked about and has been much discussed over the last couple of years, the rally was driven by the Magnificent Seven.
Yes.
The market performance outside of those tech companies was not great. So there was a real seeming imbalance in terms of growth and return in the market.
I agree with you. And that's why I'm telling people, make sure that you're diversified. You're rebalancing, avoiding overconcentration in volatile stocks like the Magnificent Seven. And that's just getting back to the fundamentals, making sure you're not doing undue risk. The one thing I try to preach as much as I can is you're not 40 anymore, so do not invest like you're 40.
Well, what are some things you say when people say, okay, I hear what you're saying, Tim, so let's, make a flight to stability. So where do I go other than T-bills?
No problem. Different things. We try to tell them to hedge risk, by having, active strategic management, stop losses, covered calls. And then along with that is, having uncorrelated or non-correlated assets, cash, commodities, annuities, CDs, cash value life insurance, with, living benefits such as long-term care, but things that don't correlate with the market. And most people who come in to see us have stocks and bonds, which unfortunately now are correlated together to go up or down, it seems.
What about gold and silver? I had a financial expert tell me last week. He said, do it all in gold. And I said, well, what about silver?
Yeah, right. That is a thing, and that's why, again, I would say a commodity, but usually we tell people not to go all in. Yeah. I would say to use about 10% of your portfolio and something like that, and we have our clients in that type of thing as
Just
well.
Just 10%, huh?
Yeah, I don't think you'd have to go too crazy there.
And so I'm sure you get questions about this as well, and probably we're getting more questions when it was up over 100,000 versus at 82 or wherever it is today, talking about Bitcoin, but not just because of the price, but because of the strategic crypto reserve that the administration is setting up, and whether or not that makes sense if maybe if you're a little bit younger and you're a little bit further out on the risk plane, that makes sense as part of your holdings.
Well, what's interesting is I wrote read a book by Tony Robbins, and he was talking about the fundamentals of investing, and one of them that he was pointing out, and we've seen this, is Bitcoin actually now is correlated to the markets. So when the markets retract, which that was the advertisement right when it came out, that it was a fail-safe, that if the market was going down, you'd be okay. Well, that's not the case anymore. So if you are going to go into stuff like that, I wouldn't go too crazy with that.
Tony, did you like walk on hot coals or do anything else Tony Robbins told you to do?
I found my inner self, Dan.
I knew there's something different about you.
Yes, that glow.
Yes, that glow. So a correction you said could be a great time to do Roth conversions.
Yes, I mean the current tax brackets that are out there right now are supposed to reset at the end of this year. So to use a analogy, using lemons to make lemonade, when the market's corrected, maybe might be a great time to do some of these conversions while we're under the lowest tax brackets we've seen since the early 80s.
What about, I mean, if tariffs do, I mean, although we got a good print on inflation the other week, but if there is a bit of trade impasse that keeps prices artificially high, then what are other hedges against inflation? The real assets like real estate is, depending on where you are, is an income property, something like that, something you might consider.
Right, and what if you're going to do something like that? I wouldn't become a land baron. I would, where you're having to deal with people as a landlord. I would look into REITs and that type of thing that might be out there that you don't have to do the management. We've done a couple of those for our clients that have really turned out well. I don't think a 60-year-old baby boomer wants to be a landlord for anyone. My wife and I have done that. It was not that great of an experience.
Yeah.
Now I want to know more about that.
but in residential, industrial, certainly not commercial, I wouldn't think.
No. We're talking about residential and that type of thing, exactly. Go ahead, sorry.
No, but what about, I mean, through this market, though, I mean, even with the run-up in residential prices, hasn't it been industrial that has performed the best?
Oh, that is correct. Right. And we've done some infrastructure type things down in Texas with 1031 exchanges, which is real estate with people, and we've done really well for our clients in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Texas, Florida,
Tennessee,
yes,
South Carolina.
Yes,
where does Illinois fall on that list of
have
real
you done
estate plays?
anything?
It's 53rd.
Right.
That's after we take over Canada.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
So, all right. What about recommendations on a percentage of your holdings in cash?
Cash, that's a tough question. I would say around at least 10% is right now a great time to do that. I think so, because with these downturns, we're finding a lot of people that have come from your radio show and our radio show Saturdays at noon right here, is that people are getting sick of their money manager just telling them, hey, markets go up, markets go down. You just need to wait it out. Well, if I'm a baby boomer out there, I'm getting a little bit anxious seeing these markets react the way they are. So if you have a protect and grow blueprint plan like what we do, I think that our clients, we're not getting a million calls where people are freaking out because, in many cases we've had them in defensive positions, ready to go, and we've done that, and they feel better and they sleep better at night because we have an actual plan.
If you want, I'm willing to come on your show and provide some March Madness handicapping advice if people want to make a quick score over the next few weeks,
Sure.
and then, to sort of smooth out some of the ups and downs of the last few weeks.
Well, you don't seem real busy, Dan, so that'd be perfect.
Yeah, well, exactly. No, I'm basically, that's what I do. I get off this show and then I put the green eye shades on. I've got a wall of TVs. I've got,
There you go.
computers. I've got, Doge boys, something like that with me running algorithms. So, I do my homework.
So what do you personally think of Doge so far, Elon Musk, and how they're cutting government spending?
Yeah, I think it's
foreign aid.
Yes, I think it's going to be a wait and see, but I like seeing that type of action rather than what we saw the last 4 years. I couldn't stand what was going on. So any movement in that direction to me is a positive. If I ran my household like the Biden administration did the last 4 years, we wouldn't have a place to live and we'd be on the government's dime. And I just think that, I like movement in that direction. I like that President Trump is a business owner. He knows the shoes I'm in, a lot of Americans are in. That we need help, and that by cutting those, fat from the diet is going to be good for everybody.
Tim Stearns is the president and founder of TJ Stearns and Arlington Heights. He's also the host of Protect and Grow, Chicagoland Retirement, which can be heard on our airwaves Saturdays, noon to 1 p.m. Tim, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan and Amy, thank you.
And also, you can reach Tim at his Arlington Heights office. I just want to plug the number real quick. 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256 or online at tjstearns.com.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now, you've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do, like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now, 312-809-5950.